And I watch this all as it washes all over me. Don't give me room, don't give me space to breathe. An endless sky, an endless sea. The scars we bear.
All right, welcome in, everybody. How are we doing? We're looking at another beautiful Wednesday. It is Wednesday, March 13th at the moment. And we're ready to go look through the internet. I've actually reset up my camera. Looks a little different now. Looks a little cleaner, I think. Hopefully that looks good. Actually, let me just take a quick peek. I haven't even taken a view on the stream. It should look a little nicer. Yeah, it does. That is very nice.
You know
All right, trending Wednesday, March 24th.
Set sail until the end, and where the horizon meets in time, that's where I'll be. In the sea, comfort me.
This music is a little too involved. Taco, we want some fun and chill. All right. I don't think this is definitely not copyright free. We want something like this. A 3-hour live stream? What is a oh, it's just a video. Okay, Fennel Restaurant. What the heck is this? Fennel Restaurant, Fab Foods Friday is back. And your chance to... What is... Why is Fennel Restaurant in Google Trends right now? They must have gone viral on TikTok or something. Oh, this is just Canada. Fuck this. Oh, it's still #1. Search it. Oh, it's not just a restaurant. Okay. Fennel Foods and how to cook it. What is fennel? I wonder why that went viral. Is it the restaurant? Fennel Restaurant. Vouchers and... Okay, something interesting going on there. Paul Alexander. It's the Iron Lung dude. Oh, he's... Okay. Paul Alexander's gone. Rest in peace. Love is Blind reunion. Never watched it. Lenny Kravitz. Mike Williams. Sports. The TikTok ban. I want to take a look at the TikTok ban. Let's do these two sites. We are going to take a quick look at the TikTok ban here just to make sure, just to kind of catch yourselves up. Because I've heard a little bit about it, but not so much that... Wait, do I have to single sign on? Let's do this. Guess we will log in. Oh, no. Start over. What am I doing? Just clicking on stuff too fast. Let's use business account. I agree. I'm gonna get charged. Continue without subscribing. Welcome to the Times. Can I actually see the article that I want to look at? It's daily free news article. We don't really care. All right, let's take a quick look at what's going on here.
Breaking news on Capitol Hill. The House just voted on the future of TikTok in the U.S. Lawmakers considering a bill that would require Chinese company ByteDance to sell TikTok or face a ban in the United States. NBC senior national political reporter Sahil Kapoor joins us now with more on this. The final vote here, 352 to 65. overwhelming, bipartisan. Sahil, this bill now goes to the Senate, where its future is less clear. But this is a big step. So what would this bill do if passed?
That's right, Joe. This is a huge vote, 352 members of the House. It needed a two-thirds majority to pass under this process, and it cleared that with a
So they're actually going onto a full ban.
a wide margin to spare. There were some notable opponents here from both the left and the right. Some progressive members like Mark Pocan and Pramila Jayapal opposed it. They said the process was too rushed. Congresswoman Ocasio-Cortez is one of them. Others opposed it from the right, like Congressman Thomas Massey, who argued that there were First Amendment concerns. But nevertheless, a huge vote that would force TikTok's parent company to sell it or get banned. Remember, the heart of the problem here is that TikTok's parent company, ByteDance, is a Chinese-based company based in Beijing, subject to Chinese law that says if China asks the company for information, it is required to hand it over, and that information could include user data on some 150 to 170 million Americans who use it. That's a tantalizing trove of information that the Chinese government could, in theory, get its hands on if that law were to be triggered, which is why the U.S. government considers this a national security threat. So that's what the bill would do: force ByteDance to sell TikTok or face a ban in the United States. It goes to the Senate now, where there's less urgency about this bill, and senators have a whole bunch of different ideas about, how to approach this. Some of them want a broader approach that covers categories of companies, not simply one company, maybe other Chinese companies, maybe other companies controlled by foreign adversaries. So the fate of this bill in terms of getting to President Biden's desk is still very much up in the air, Joe.
TikTok has put on a full court press to try and stop this from happening, including going to Washington, bringing people of small businesses that rely on TikTok to Washington. What is TikTok saying about this movement right now?
Yeah, there's been an aggressive lobbying blitz from TikTok, which kind of flared up last year when we first started hearing, a meaningful push on Capitol Hill to ban TikTok. They have flooded Capitol Hill with content creators, several of whom have millions of followers, pleading with lawmakers to protect the app, arguing that their own livelihoods depend on it. There are a lot of young people in particular, Joe, who are vigorous users of TikTok, vigorous users of this app, and rely on it to get their news, rely on it for entertainment. So TikTok has been trying to take advantage of that. They've also issued push alerts and notifications to many of their users, trying to send them to, light up the phone lines, to burn up the phone lines of congressional offices in a bid to save it. It does seem to have had some impact. I mean, if you look at some of the no's on the list, they represent towns with lots of young voters. One example there is Mark Pocan, who represents Madison, Wisconsin, a lot of college students there. He told me he was simply not convinced by the administration's security briefings, that in fact it was so unconvincing to him that it moved him from being open-minded to no. He's obviously in the minority here because most House lawmakers do support this bill to ban TikTok. Most senators we talk to also support the idea of doing something that would change the way TikTok is currently operating in terms of its ownership, the links to the Chinese government. Whether that happens in the Senate, very unclear still. It's got a long way to go. And as I mentioned, senators just don't have quite the same level of urgency that House members did in zooming this bill to the floor with that unanimous committee vote last week and this full House vote today that just passed the chamber, Joe.
One person is moving in the opposite direction of many members of Congress is former President Trump. He wanted to ban TikTok back in 2020. Now he says he opposes this ban that was just passed by the House. So often we see Republicans fall in line with Trump. Clearly that didn't happen here. Why not?
Yeah, that's absolutely right, Joe. I think Donald Trump's influence on Capitol Hill is very, very significant with Republicans, but it tends to be on issues that he genuinely cares about and that lawmakers believe he genuinely cares about.
Oh, I do just want to say thank you so much, Made in USA, for the host. I believe that just came up. Thank you so much.
This was a very abrupt reversal from Donald Trump, and a number of his ardent supporters say that, they believe he was a great president, that they will support him again in the 2024 election. They'll even campaign for him, but they say he's simply wrong about this. That includes Congressman Troy Nehls of Texas, a vigorous Trump supporter, endorsed this bill. The reasons are, it's anybody's guess, really, but Joe, there is a trend where Donald Trump's influence tends to be the least on legislative matters, where a lot of lawmakers, a lot of even Republican lawmakers who are his allies, don't take him as seriously. They don't believe he's actually committed to this and that he'll actually use his clout to punish them, to turn his voters against them if they cross him on this.
I don't know how I feel about the TikTok ban in general. Love the Chinese people, fuck China, right? Simple like that. It's I don't always find it good that democratic, or crony capitalistic companies are, I'll say crony capitalistic because it's very or state-run capitalism is running these types of companies. So there does need to be something involved with this. I would say like maybe Chinese companies can have stake in American companies, but the companies have to be American or have to be from some certain subset of companies. We'll take a look and see. This is probably just exactly what they said anyways. Like, it's not really a ban either. They're just gonna force China to sell it to a US company. So the House voted Wednesday to pass legislation that could ban TikTok in the US. That could ban TikTok. This is, I believe, going to be more of like a highlight than anything else. It could ban. We'll see though. It just seems weird language. The U.S. Republicans and Democrats alike sound the alarm that the popular video sharing app owned by a China-based company is a national security threat. The vote was 352 to 65, with one member, Representative Jasmine Crockett Texas, voting bill. The bill now heads to Senate, where it faces an uncertain fate, and there appears to be less urgency to act. Following updates. Communist China is America's largest geopolitical foe and is using technology to actively undermine America's economy and security. Speaker Mike Johnson, RLA, said in a statement after the vote, warning that TikTok could be used to access American data and spread harmful information. Today's bipartisan vote demonstrates Congress's opposition to Communist China's attempts to spy and manipulate Americans, and signal our resolve to deter our enemies. 50 Democrats and 15 Republicans voted against the bill. Among them were progressives like Representative Pramila Jayapal, D-Wash, Ro Khanna, D. California, Ruben Gallego, D. Ares, a Senate candidate, as well as conservatives like Representative, Marjorie Taylor Greene, RGA, who lamented that she had previously been banned from social media. The top Democrat on the Intelligence Committee, Representative Jim Himes of Connecticut, was a surprising no vote. He also cited free speech issues with the bill. There are free speech issues which we can argue, but it's got to be two-sided here. The companies have to be backed by free speech in general, I feel like. Adversaries trying to shut down news, blah, 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 blah. TikTok-owned China-based company, ByteDance, mounted an aggressive lobbying campaign to kill the legislation, arguing that it would violate the First Amendment rights of its 170 million U.S. users and harm thousands of small businesses that rely on it. The process was secret, and the bill jammed through for one reason: it's a ban, a company on X said.
Joining me now is Democratic Congressman from Illinois, Raja Krishnamurthy. He is the ranking member of the China Select Committee, and he and Chairman Mike Gallagher introduced that bill that could ban TikTok. So thank you so much for being here, Congressman.
Hey, thanks, Yamiche.
Now, it's still unclear when the Senate will take up your legislation, but I want to play for you what some senators are saying about your bill. Take a listen.
I understand people like TikTok. I would like to keep TikTok running, but not have our data used by the Communist Chinese
How will you vote
Party.
on this?
I don't know yet. I mean, I'm just being honest with you. I am definitely conflicted.
I'll tell you, there are a lot of questions my colleagues are asking, myself included. I haven't come to a final decision as to whether or not it should be banned.
So, Congressman, you just got a classified briefing this afternoon. What is your message to senators in particular who may be on the fence about this legislation?
Well, first of all, this is not a ban. What we're calling for is a divestment of TikTok by ByteDance, its owner, which is controlled by the Chinese Communist Party. And really, this isn't about TikTok, it's about ByteDance. And I think that what we're hearing is the president wants this authority to be able to the balance, the legitimate concerns of people who are on the platform, who should continue to enjoy the platform, with the legitimate national security concerns that have to do with our adversary, the CCP, and what it does in terms of its access to data, as well as in manipulation of the algorithm on the platform.
But Congressman, if they don't divest, you will ban them. And to be clear, you also put a 6-month deadline on this. So explain how you square that with the idea that you put this ban, you put the consequence of the ban on the table. That was your decision.
Yeah, so basically they would be suspended from being able to operate until they comply with the law. This is very common. We have various laws that basically prevent excess ownership with regard to broadcast out.
I'll even point out there should be laws against companies selling to external entities outside of a certain trade agreement within the, now that I'm rethinking about it, it's not about trading with companies outside of the United States. It's about trading information with governments. There should be lots of rules about internal companies not being able to make money from external governments in terms of
That's telecom companies, even railroads. And so what we're saying here is they need to comply with that particular law. They need to reduce their ownership to no more than a 20% stake in the company. And at that point, they would be in compliance.
I understand what your view on that. I want to also ask you about something about former President Trump. He said he believes that TikTok poses a national security risk. He initially supported banning it. I know you're saying it would be suspended, but he also is reversing course here, is flipping the script. How worried are you that President Trump and him not supporting this bill, that it could tank it in the 11th hour?
Well, I think he's been flip-flopping and then flipping. Just the other day, he gave a rambling interview with CNBC in which he said, TikTok is absolutely a national security threat. I'm not really sure what exactly is motivating Donald Trump. Something tells me it has something to do with politics. Surprise, surprise. But the main point here is we have to do what is right. And what is right here is making sure that we ensure the divestment of the Chinese Communist Party and ByteDance with regard to TikTok.
Congressman, I also want to ask you about the constitutional issues that might be here. The ACLU has been critical of your bill, saying it would violate the First Amendment. They argue, quote, banning...
Like I say, I don't know, maybe this is a little more nuanced than anything else, but it's not about banning TikTok. That's not what they're trying to do. They're trying to separate the company's entity with the CCP. And if the CCP would not let go of TikTok in any way, then you're not banning TikTok, you're banning the CCP's interaction with TikTok.
TikTok would have a profound implications for our constitutional right to free speech and free expression, because millions of Americans rely on the app every day for information, communication, advocacy, and entertainment. So how would you respond to that argument? And are you concerned that this bill could end up being blocked by the courts because of those constitutional issues that the ACLU is bringing up?
No, there is no right. There's no First Amendment right to espionage. No, there's no First Amendment right to harm our national security. There are a number of cases, including Supreme Court cases, that basically say that even in a situation where, for instance, a bookstore is not in compliance with laws of general application, and even though obviously the authors and others...
Actually, that's a good way of putting it. Like, if a bookstore was keeping track of customers that came in and out, took pictures of all their faces, and then was selling it to the Chinese government, it's not about the bookstore anymore. It's not about the company. It's really about the interaction with an external government.
Have the right to express themselves, and the books contained in that bookstore should be able to sell them. Yep. If the bookstore is out of compliance, it's not allowed to operate until it's in compliance. And that's the situation here. Similarly, broadcast outlets and other companies, we have foreign ownership limits or thresholds that can't be crossed. And I think that this is one of those situations where we don't want a foreign adversary's controlled social media app to basically harm our national security while we want people to continue to express themselves on the platform. I think that this law achieves the balance, and so people will be able to continue to do so. We have precedent here. There was Grindr, which is a LGBTQ app that was owned at one time by a Chinese company. Because we realized that the Chinese Communist Party had access to the sensitive personal data of LGBTQ members of the military and the government, we required divestment. That happened without a hitch. It happened quickly because Grindr was a valuable social media app, just as TikTok is, and there was no disruption of service, which is what we would expect here as well.
Well, Congressman, you talked about TikTok being a sort of bookstore. What if the president was in that bookstore? You have President Biden's campaign. As you know, they've joined TikTok. In fact, their campaign posted a new video today.
That's exactly it. They can sell whatever they want inside the bookstore, but it's not about what's being sold inside the bookstore. It's about the interaction between the bookstore and another government.
Doesn't that undermine in some ways your argument that this poses a national security threat if the president of the United States and his campaign is on it?
Well, I'm not going to tell the president how to campaign. I don't have TikTok on my own personal phone, and it's certainly banned from all government devices. But I think that everyone should use it very cautiously going forward. What I do know is what happened last week illustrates exactly why we need this particular bill. You may be aware that our particular bill passed out of the Energy and Commerce Committee, which is the committee of jurisdiction here, 50-0. That almost never happens, certainly not on the Energy and Commerce Committee. But the reason it happened is because TikTok, on the day of the vote, decided to use a push notification and a pop-up window on its app that required minor children, in order to be able to use the app, to call their member of Congress on the Energy and Commerce Committee to lobby against the bill in question. Well, when they called these offices, they flooded those offices with phone calls, by the way. These minor children basically asked the question, what is Congress and what is a congressman? And on top of that, in one case, they impersonated the child of one of the legislators. In another case, they actually called the congressman's office and said, I'm going to commit self-harm unless you turn on my TikTok. And so this illustrated in one example exactly why this particular legislation is necessary. Today, Christopher Wray at the Worldwide Threats hearing said in the open hearing, when I asked him about this particular example, he said he could not rule out that the CCP itself conducted this particular operation. So that is why we need this particular legislation.
Get rid of them.
We will certainly be watching this legislation. Thank you so much, Congressman, for your time.
Totally up for that.
Thank you.
Get rid of them. Separate the two things.
The fight is on.
Its backers say it's wrong to call legislation outright ban, dubbed Protecting Americans from Foreign Adversaries Controlled Applications Act. Of the bill would create a process for the president to designate certain social media applications under the control of foreign adversaries. I don't think there's any question here. It's not totally open and shut, but it's very close to being open and shut case. Ken Buck. These are all just names. People are just searching up names. People care about people. I want to see events, things. What's going on? Aaron Jones, Squayin Barkley, Eric Carmen. Oh, Eric Carmen. Eric Cartman, what the hell? Boeing whistleblower is dead. I saw a little bit of that, but I don't really care too much about to report on that because it's not really anything I can add to. Boeing stock takes a dip. These are the past few days here. Real-time search trends. San Jose, it's all sports. Sports. I'm fine with sports, but I'm not a big sports guy. Stock exchange computer security. What is this? Sentinel-1 earnings report. Yeah. Hi, bird. You guys can kind of see his head poking out through the camera there. Her head. Hi, you've been a dick. Bit me in the lip today and actually caused me to bleed. I don't trust you. And you don't trust me. I know that. Alright, there's actually a trailer I wanted to take a look at here. A new game called Bitcraft. We'll actually mute this for now and give this a play. Survival crafting MMORPG. Choose your path. What is this? This is just another survival game? Is it actually an MMORPG? You don't want to chop down the big trees. Hexagonal based. Yeah, everything was hexagonal. Wow, a character creator. Oh, unique traders. You can go trade. This is honestly, I'm getting. It looks cool. Visual, the art style is cool, but is this really special? Everything is hexagons instead of cubes. Uncover the secrets of the past. Bitcraft, Age of Automata. I don't know if that looks too exciting to me. Doesn't really seem like anything special. The clip that got Andrew Tate. Oh god. We'll take a look at this. He's talking to his dad right away. Okay.
What about it? The Andrew Tate thing? What happened?
Oh fuck! I wrote this shit.
We're gonna learn about Andrew Tate from his dad.
Do you know how he got found out for it?
No.
So my announcement is, Andrew had hit me up. He said, "Hey, I'm gonna be leaving Romania soon and probably never coming back. If you want to come over and do a week of long streams and content before I leave, I think it'll be big." And I'm sorry. He said it's not. It's basically now or never.
Do you know how he got found out for it?
No.
From Aiden Ross's stream.
Oh shit! Well, that figures. Aiden Ross, what a jackass.
That's so funny.
That guy's the biggest asshole. I told you at that time I saw him out with Kyle.
God.
That's so funny.
Yeah, you did.
He's gonna be. That's hilarious. I guess Aiden Ross got a text message from Andrew Tate just to try and squeeze in a little bit of extra content time before he ran away. And now... All right, let's take a look too. Cataclysmo official release date trailer. What is this?
The Cataclysmo left us broken. Scattered. Lost.
Are we in the era of fighting co-op swarms of enemies right now? Is that what's going on?
But we found our courage. We rose. Piece by piece. And we did not stop.
City builder, I guess? Maybe like a really big tower defense game?
We faced down horror, night after night.
Yeah, tower defense game.
We grew strong. We built new homes. Tamed this land of mist. And we survived. They broke us once. But I see no broken souls today. I see a people carved from stone. And with this stone, we will rebuild.
Cataclysmo. That's actually really exciting. Like I don't know if I'll play it or not. We'll see. But it looks like a really cool tower defense game. There's a lot of those like horde mode tower defense games out. I played them when I was a lot younger, so I've got some love for it. But it doesn't look like anything too special. I think we're reaching an era of gaming where things are not going to look too special. It's going to be more about the application and how all of the game pieces are kind of put together that create an entire experience that's enjoyable. For example, Helldivers. Like, there's nothing new about any of the way that Helldivers. Or the way that Helldivers does its combat. It's more of how it applies the combat on top of the larger scale battle that makes the game excellent. Hmm. 32 minutes of Philip DeFranco. I don't know about this one. Let's just swap over to my main account and see what's there. The new Helldivers update is much... What is this? Let's take a look. Hey guys, speaking of Helldivers, we'll give this guy a chance.
Today we released a video with our first impressions of the new Helldivers 2 update. As usual, there was solid discussion both ways. In retrospect, that initial footage I shared didn't quite capture the gravity of what's going on in the higher difficulty levels, and I totally agree with those of you that said some of my examples didn't quite hit home. I'm back now with footage that I can't actually believe myself. I can't believe I just experienced this, and I just want to share it with you. I'm so glad I got to capture these moments on video. It was my first ever Termicide mission. I dropped in as a reinforcement for an SOS beacon in a public game at difficulty 8, and what followed was unlike anything I've ever experienced. I loaded out with 500 kilo bombs, a recoilless rifle, mechs, and a Gatling sentry to be ready for anything. But honestly, I don't think anything would have got me ready for what I experienced. Not knowing what this mission type was about, I landed and threw down my Gatling sentry to zone off an approaching patrol, and then promptly called down the recoilless rifle to get ready for anything.
Requesting sentry. Calling down a support weapon.
It wasn't long before an approaching charger needed a headshot, like which I gladly obliged. I will say I do really like this new one-shot headshot meta for chargers. It gives the AT weapons far more utility. About 30 seconds after I dropped in, the team had already dispatched 3 charges. This was followed by the first Bile Titan. Of many. Oh god, so many. Charger number 4 quickly took out my Gatling sentry while getting microwaved by an orbital laser. The moment I finished reloading, charger number 5 was already making his way in. A well-aimed rocket to the face puts an end to that. I finished loading to turn around only to see the team taking on Bile Titan number 2. The old 500 kilo bomb and AT missile to the face combo 2 taps. I turn around mid-reloading to see Bile Titan number 3 has spawned back where my Gatling sentry was. I throw my 500 kilo bomb, and just as it deploys, Titan number 4 emerges right where number 3 was. The 500 kilos, apparently small AoE, doesn't get it, so I shoot it with the old AT rocket to the face. I aim for Bile Titan number 4, only to see that number 3 still isn't dead.
Am I getting clickbaited? I'm getting clickbaited.
My teammates' amazing 500 kilo aiming skills embed the bomb inside the Titan's carapace for a glorious finish. Now, I've had my recoilless rifle out for a minute and I'm already completely out of rockets and the Bile Titans are still coming. Luckily, I find a supply pack brought down by my team earlier and my guy vaults it automatically like a moron. I start reloading to take out Titan number 4. Not before I'm massacred by a hunter, of course, everyone's new favorite critical headshot fluff bunny. The team brings me back and I quickly realize the Breaker Incendiary has nowhere near the stopping power for the masses of chaff the game now spawns on you. I then look up to see Titan number 5 making its way over the horizon. I take it out with my recoilless, only to realize that I'm going to need a lot more ammo if this is how it's going to be. What I assume is Titan number 4 is still walking around. I call in a Gatling sentry to cover myself and am forced to bring down the Patriot.
Calling down a sentry!
You almost have to have these, the mechs with you.
Titan number 4 is wreaking havoc on my team as I follow in the mech, trying to position for a rocket or two to the face. I turn around only to see number 6 in the distance.
Requesting advanced weaponry. Heavy, northwest, 50 meters.
It takes 5 damned rockets to take out number 4, but we finally did it. I decide to leave number 6 alone, hoping it doesn't pull aggro. Mind you, at this point I have no idea what this mission type is about, so I'm just moving around trying to give my team some cover. I go up the stairs only to see Titan number 7 in the distance, closing on my
Is
team.
he just complaining
And
about
then,
the
of course,
amount of Titans?
number 8 teaming up with it.
Supply drop, vaulting.
In the distance, we see number 9 has spawned and is making its way over to us.
Tagging heavy, south, northwest, 50 meters. Heavy, west,
You
close.
can take them out with the rockets, that's for sure. Yeah, I should be able to.
3 rockets
Bust them
take out
down.
number 7, while number 8 does a nice little breakdance after seeing its mate taken out. I take a moment to ruminate on the fact that a 9th Titan is in the distance, and I've been in this game for all of around 5 minutes. Charges spawn in all over the place, but at this point, they're the least of our worries.
I don't know what he's complaining about. Yeah, there's lots of Titans, but they seem to be working out just fine. It's like...
The sentry lasts all of a second. I set up to make my glorious last stand, loading my recoilless as the Titan rolls back to spew and... the host rage quits and the mission ends. Over 20 Bile Titans, counting conservatively. Countless charges. Not to mention the endless ads, given that the recent update specifically bumped up their spawn rate. An update specifically set up to reduce the spawn rate of heavies in difficulty 7 to 9. And this wasn't even the highest difficulty that you just saw. I honestly don't know what to say that this footage wouldn't have already said for me. If you believe that Helldivers 2 is currently in a good state of balance, then we're simply after drastically different things in our games. I'm not going to toe the line of toxic positivity, blowing hot air to tell you that every new update is great and amazing just to
play a lower difficulty. It is a little crazy. It feels a little crazy, but the thing is with Helldivers, it's like... it's supposed to be crazy. Like, it feels like you're supposed to. On the highest difficulties, you're supposed to be on the edge of dying the entire time. So, not too concerned there. Holy, what's with the live players today on YouTube? Wow, look, it's literally all live. Flats, Toy Cat, Penny Arcade, Dark Viper, Custa, Oxhorn, 6, ML7, Steve-O. Wow. Are live streams taken off on Twitch, or did they just update something? They must have just updated something where, like, more live streams appear at the top, because I've never seen that many in my life. your friend. Let's see, Gus. I haven't seen Gus videos in a while.
Hey, yo, how did your job interview go?
Oh my God, the job interview, it's so good.
Yeah?
I have great news immediately.
Oh my God, what is it?
My boss, I just was meeting him today, and he already promoted me to vice president of sales.
Yeah?
It's nice that this company has so much faith in me. I've barely even talked to them. That's a huge amount of responsibility.
Okay, this is lame skit. Not, meh. Don't really care. 15-minute loss.
Hey everybody, how's it going? Hope you're having a lovely day. So a theme that I followed on this channel for a really long time back in the day was right to repair, and how a lot of companies make it more difficult for you to fix what you own. And as time went on, this really just kind of turned into a concept about ownership in general. If you're not able to fix what you own, then do you own it or does somebody else own it? And conversely, if you have a camera and you are not allowed to choose what server it connects to, do you own it? If you have a baby monitor and it has certain features that are advertised in the box and those features go away because the company decided they don't want to give them to you, do you own it? If you have a computer, which is what your smartphone is, and you can no longer install an operating system on it of your choosing, do you own it? And today the question is starting to come up as to whether or not you own your car. If you own a car, yet it has an antenna in it that transmits data on how you drive back to the manufacturer, who sells it to LexisNexis, who sells it to insurance companies, do you own your car? Now, almost everybody watching this channel is aware that Tesla cars have computers in them, and they are constantly transmitting God knows what back to home base on a regular basis, and that many modern vehicles have a lot of computerized crap in them that makes it very difficult for you to say that you own what you bought and paid for. Things can be locked behind a paywall. BMW can say you don't get heated seats even though the heaters have been put into your seat because the computer says no, you haven't paid your monthly subscription. And now it's really starting to get more egregious, where many of these companies are doing what I like to call EULA Ruffian. End user license agreement, the thing that you sign when you install software or an operating system or start using your car. Roofing, which is the practice of drugging somebody so that you can get them to consent to something that you typically would not be able to get them to consent to, because if they were in their right mind, they would say no. This is something that we tend to accuse rapists of, and I really do keep trying to hammer home that many modern tech companies, and now admittedly many companies that use this type of technology within their products, have the mentality of rapists. And I would like to read some excerpts from a New York Times article here and then give you a couple of my thoughts. So the first part of this is Ken Dahl says Ken Dahl, I'm sorry, I just heard that as Kendall. There was a friend of mine who was a model in our inner circle, and one of my other friends always used to call him Kendall to make fun of him. Anyway, Ken DAHL says he has always been a careful driver. The owner of a software company near Seattle, he drives a leased Chevrolet Bolt. He's never been responsible for an accident. So Mr. Dahl, 65, was surprised in 2022 when the cost of his car insurance jumped by 21%. Quotes from other insurance companies were also high. One insurance agent told him his LexisNexis report was a factor. Upon Mr. Dahl's request, LexisNexis sent him a 258-page consumer disclosure report. So these companies are required, if you ask them by law, to send you a report on the data that they have on you. And what he found is more than 130 pages detailing every time he or his wife have driven the Chevy Bolt car over the previous 6 months, and included the dates of 640 trips, their start and end times, the distance driven, and an accounting of any speeding, hard braking, or sharp acceleration. According to the report, the trip details have been provided by General Motors. The manufacturer.
The way I feel like that, if they're going to take money, or if they're going to take data from your vehicle, you should get paid for that data.
Of the Chevy Bolt. LexisNexis analyzed that driving data to create a risk score for insurers to use as one factor of many to create more personalized insurance coverage.
Yeah.
8 insurance companies had requested information about Mr. Dahl from LexisNexis over the previous month. So let's get this straight. So you bought a car. The manufacturer of the car has a computer and an antenna in your car that they utilize without your consent or permission to absorb information on everything you do in your car, and then sell that information to data brokers without informing you. Again, in many of these videos, people will fight back. Lewis, you are using inappropriate language. How dare you say that somebody is a rapist? When that is what this is. Without consent, they are taking something from you that you did not consent to in a way that makes you feel personally violated. If that is not an appropriate noun and verb to use, I don't know what is. Car companies have established relationships with insurance companies so that if drivers want to sign up for what's called usage-based insurance, where rates are set based on monitoring of their driving habits, it's easy to collect that data wirelessly from your car.
The thing is, that's going to be used to like pump prices up. It's not going to be used to provide savings. It should be used to provide savings. Like if somebody is significantly safer at driving their vehicle, then absolutely there should be, you know, lower premiums, I guess, on your insurance. But
and again, just to be very clear, Geico offers as a feature. You can get a beacon installed in your car, or you can use your phone. Tesla offers as a feature, but what they do is they require that you opt in. You have to explicitly consent to these features. I have no problem with these features existing if I have to opt into them and explicitly consent. If I explicitly consent, that's fine. If I do not consent and you do not tell me you are collecting my information and selling it to random fuckfaces, then it is not okay. Automakers and data brokers that have partnered to collect detailed driving data from millions of Americans say they have drivers' permission to do so. Really? You really? Show me where you got that fucking permission. And again, this really comes down to one of the things I talked about in the video that I did on Sony and Discovery, where they were telling people we're revoking access to your content. On their page, they say that you are purchasing the content. But then on page 21 of a legal agreement, it says that you are simply purchasing a revocable right that can be revoked at any time to be able to watch the content. And it's one of these things where, again, if you have to put it on page 21, like, you know, I'm writing on the napkin that you're going to sleep with me tonight no matter what, and because it was on the napkin, you should have read it because it was on the bar. Like, it's this type of just rapey ass shit where you know in your heart and in your soul that if it said next to the add to cart button what you were putting on page 21 of the EULA, that you would lose 95% of your customers, which is why you hide it there, you rapist pieces of garbage. They have gotten permission to do so. But the existence of these partnerships is nearly invisible to drivers, whose consent is obtained in fine print and murky privacy policies that few read. EULA roofing. I have a GM car, a Chevy. I went through the enrollment process for Smart Driver. There was no warning or prominent disclosure that any third party would get access to my driving data. I repeat, I went through the enrollment process for Smart Driver. There was no warning or prominent disclosure that any third party would get.
There probably was. It was just like stuck in somewhere in the fine print. There'll be like a asterisk, which will go into another EULA thing, which have an asterisk in that, which will go into another one, which have an asterisk in that, which will go into another one, and then in that's where you get to give consent. There's actually, I think there's a website. It's been a while since I've been to it. Summarize, it's EULAs, I think it is. I believe there is. Yeah. TO, is this still a website? No. Terms of service didn't read. Is it down? TOSDR? Maybe it's not the one I'm thinking of. Man, that used to be a good website. Well, somewhere on the internet there is.
Get access to my driving data, says a reporter. I don't know the definition of hard brake. My passenger's head isn't hitting the dash, he said. Same with acceleration. I'm not peeling out. I'm not sure how the car defines that. I don't feel I'm driving aggressively or dangerously. Now, some people who may have tried Teslas with full self-driving back a couple of years ago, back before the feature was really refined, who am I kidding? It's just not refined now. But before the testing feature to figure out if you're a good driver was refined. Allow me to correct myself. Tesla had this thing where it would try to tell whether you were a good driver, like how hard did you go around corners, would you have hard stops, stuff like that. And one of the things you may have noticed if you used a Tesla and tried to get full self-driving in 2019, 2021, is that it considered hard braking literally any time you hit the brake. So if you use the regenerative braking, you're good. If you so much as touch the brake like this, you would get hard braking. And not only is this inaccurate, but it's fundamentally unsafe. If I hit my brakes because I need to hit my brakes, that is safe. Whereas if I don't hit my brakes because I'm trying to game a computer and I'm like, okay, I'm going to play a game of like chicken, flip a coin. Like, am I going to stop right before their bumper with only regenerative braking, or am I going to smash into it? Like, it kind of encourages people to play those types of games to game a shitty system, which is fundamentally unsafe as it is. I genuinely believe that most of these systems are garbage, and I would just suggest that you try them yourself to see. The way that you have to act to game the shitty AI that's trying to guess whether you're a good driver winds up causing you to make decisions that are actually unsafe. Again, saying, okay, I need to stop so slowly, like let me just try to stop all the way up here and make people mad so that they start swerving around me because I'm going too slow, versus, okay, let me stop further up, but I'm not going to hit the brakes. I'm just going to kind of hope that regenerative braking stops me naturally. These type of driving decisions are genuinely dangerous in my opinion, and it's just these systems are just not what they're supposed to be. And separate from that, let's just think of other circumstances. Let's say that I am on a racetrack. There is a major difference between going on, Laconia, New Hampshire, and going on a racetrack or going to any sort of...
I gotta pause this for a sec. There's a little clip here on Twitter. I think this is retarded.
Associated with foreign adversary apps, such as TikTok.com. It can never be used to penalize individuals. The text explicitly prohibits that, and it cannot be used to censor speech. It takes no position at all on the content of speech, only foreign adversary control. Foreign adversary control of what is becoming the dominant news platform for Americans under 30.
That's not
this
a
is
reason.
a common sense measure to protect our national security.
This fuckhead admitted, yes, nobody fucking denied that. Nobody denied this. The entire purpose is that a CCP run company is becoming a significant part of the American, oh my God, they admitted it, like it wasn't. I'm boosting this, I know this by accident. The purpose is fucking retarded.
racetrack in New Hampshire, where essentially, like, I am in an environment, I'm wearing a special helmet, I am on a track that is literally straight. There are, there's rules, there are regulations, there's safety involved, there's a line, and then there is so much room above the line, so if I forget to brake in time, I'm still fine. Like, what if I was at a racetrack? Because you have to keep in mind, Chevy is doing this. Now, if they're doing it with the Chevy Bolt, which is about slower than my bike, but they could also be doing this with the Z-Series Corvette with a 0 to 60 in 3-point-something seconds. I mean, if you think about it, if you're spending $100,000 on a car where the primary feature is fast acceleration, if you take that car to a racetrack and you use it on the racetrack in a responsible way. Again, I'm not talking about going on I-35 and going 180 miles an hour on New Year's Eve. I'm talking about using it in a responsible way. You now have your insurance hiked because this garbage system sold your data without context. And you have to understand, a lot of this is lacking context. It says that it literally has every piece of information besides the location that you went. Let me repeat that. This system is collecting every piece of information besides the location. Now, you may think, oh, wow, that makes it better. They're only like half violating me. But in reality, in my opinion, it's actually worse. If you are going to grab information on my acceleration and my stops, I would really appreciate that, again, if you're going to do that, at the very least, see that I drive like a sane person on I-35, which makes me 1 in a million, and that when you see me hard accelerating and hard braking, that I'm doing that on a racetrack where it is designed for that purpose. There are rules, again, regulations, configurations and setups that make that considerably safer, but you're not collecting that information. There's no context to that information, and above all, you have no fucking right to that information. The last thing that I want to go over here is that I'm actually happy that this happened with General Motors and Chevy, and that this is not something where we're only talking about Tesla. And I want to kind of dig into that a little because I know I'm getting a lot of pushback. I am not a Tesla fanboy by any means. That being said, the reason that I'm happy this is not about Tesla is not because I'm a Tesla fanboy, but rather because I think that by talking about what Apple does or Tesla or John Deere, rather than discuss these as societal issues, we are making them a scapegoat for what is, in my opinion, a societal issue. Every single company is trying to do this thing where they design unrepairable products or make them difficult to repair. Every single company nowadays is trying to act in this way where it's not enough that you pay for the product, we also want all of your data for ourselves as well. Many of these companies have this type of rapist mentality, and by pretending that Apple is the only cell phone or computer manufacturer that does it, by pretending that John Deere is the only tractor manufacturer that does it, and by pretending that Tesla is the only car company that does it, rather than come together as a society and push back against this, we just tell people you're an idiot for buying an Apple, you're an idiot for buying a Tesla, you're an idiot for buying a John Deere, and that gives cover to every other company doing the same thing. One of the things I've talked about many times in this channel is just when it comes to this issue in general. Let's see if I can find this. 2020. So, you know, even just when it comes to the issue of right to repair, a lot of people will rightfully bring up how anti-right to repair Tesla can be in many ways. But one of the things that they don't understand is that almost every other major automaker actually spent millions of dollars. They all spent, as you can see here, General Motors $5 million, Toyota $4.5 million, Ford $4.4, Honda $2.9, and Nissan $2.4 to have a coalition called Coalition for Safe and Secure Data create ads that implied that if you had your car fixed by an independent mechanic, that you would be assaulted or sexually assaulted in a parking lot, or that somebody would break into your house and rape you. You know, there's this idea that there are these sole individual companies that are pure evil and everybody else is just fine. And what that does, again, that mindset kind of gives these types of companies the cover that they need to do the exact same thing. If everybody's blaming Tesla, then nobody's going to notice when Chevy's doing it. But I want you to notice when Chevy's doing it. I want you to notice when Ford's doing it. I want you to notice what Honda or Hyundai or Kia or every other automaker is doing it. I want you to notice it when every laptop manufacturer does it. I am making this video on a ThinkPad from 2016, but the moment that Lenovo does something stupid, whether they tell me that I am breaking the law by making a choice to sell my cell phone after I have installed an alternative operating system on it, or they're saying that the entire used market is something that should be avoided, just give us all your money because of spyware when they installed spyware on people's computers, I want you to be critical and skeptical of every one of these companies. Even the companies that make products that I use and like, I look at them critically. I don't tell myself this is the only company doing wrong. I am making a proper decision and buttoning up my polo shirt to the top button professionally by making such a better buying decision than this other idiot in this forum or IRC channel that just doesn't make choices as good as me. At the end of the day, regardless of which company you're buying a product from nowadays, there's probably some way that they're looking to screw you. And if they're not looking to screw you today, they may be looking to screw you tomorrow. And I always want you to have your eyes out for it, peeled for it, and to not have your identity as a human being tied up with the companies that you choose to make your purchases from, because at some point they will disappoint you. I want you to look at this like I made the choice to purchase from this company because they had the product with the pros and cons that were best suited to what I was looking for at the time. Not because you have taken their phallus down your throat and you believe that that company represents your identity. Don't let Chevy get away with it. Don't let anybody else get away with it. Hold them to task and hold them to account. We point out the companies that are the first to take part in a lot of these anti-consumer practices, whether anti-right to repair, anti-privacy, or just this type of rapey shit. But we point that out because we want everybody to understand that if they get away with it, everybody else tends to have a... It's one of those things where they're like, oh, he made money off of it and got away with it.
Yeah, so I was just going to say, it's basically all about, oh, he made money and did it, and that means it's totally fine. That means we can make money and do it. And they don't question themselves at all, whether it's some moral
They
thing.
care? Yeah, they yell, but not really. They kept buying it. Okay, let's do it too. You think that General Motors is giving that data away to LexisNexis for free after they've taken it from you? No way in hell. And that is after they have charged you in full for the goddamn car. Are they sharing any of that money that they made from selling your data to LexisNexis with you so that you, at the very least, are profiting from your information being violated and put out there for everybody to see? No, it's not right. And it's not something you should tolerate. Let me know what you think in the comments down below. I think personally, we should band together rather than making fun of each other. You're an idiot for buying a Ford, found on road debt. You're dumb for buying General Motors. You're a sissy, you bought a Tesla. At the end of the day, we're all getting fucked. And the worst part of it all is that we are more than happy to tear each other apart before we ever hold a company that we've given $10, $20, $40, $80,000 of our money to. And I find that to be a crying shame. I'd like us to try and come together. Let's come together a little bit more often. Hey, like, you know, I have a truck. You have a, you know, a Tesla, whatever the hell else. You have a Chevy Bolt that kind of looks like a smart car. But if I don't stand up for your rights, you're probably not going to stand up for mine when they come for me. At some point, they're going to come for you.
How many views has LaRosse been getting recently? Let's take a look. He's... 100 something K. That's pretty cool. Subs don't really mean anything anymore on YouTube. It sucks. Like, he's got 2 million subs. I'm getting pretty consistently 100K views on rant videos. Oh. Yeah. Oh my god. Okay. 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 Baldur's Gate. We'll check out our Destiny. Hot fix for Eco. Don't really care too much. Not many much stuff on there. Overwatch University. I turned to gold and kept all the... What? I turned to gold and kept all the resistances in Act 2. During my fight with Toll Collector Thorm, she turned 3/4 of my team to gold, and they exploded. My last man standing luckily cleaned up the next turn. I used scrolls to revive. I noticed that 3 of them got turned into gold, kept all the resistances from the statuses, the rest of Act 2. They kept a ton... This kept after a ton of long rests. Not sure if it's important, but no one ever kicked the bucket. It disappeared sometime during Act 3, not sure when. What? Slashing resistance. Oh, so turning to gold itself gives you... Yeah, okay, it gives you a whole bunch of resistances because you're gold, though. What's going on? Weird Destiny posts, good memes. Yeah, I want the Jordan Peterson one. Oh shit. Who's chaotic? Yeah, chaotic, that's Dan for sure. Overwatch University. How do you play Wrecking Ball when Sombra exists? You gotta shoot her. Or just not play Wrecking Ball. Is it worth one-tricking Mauga? What do I do when Sombra exclusively targets me? Why do you hang out with me if you're gonna bite me the whole time, little bird? Are you just trying to like contest your power or something, huh? I could bite you. I could eat you in one big chomp. Hump. People worried about Zen positioning, movement. Could do some VOD reviews. Why is Symmetra being a viable problem now? Hey. What is this? Discord SRV. There's one that someone chats, they'll put their head as the icon in the Discord. You're looking for one. Discord chat integration. If there's trouble with multiple messages in a row, the way Discord group messages. That's fine. Oh, and Discord. Oh, there's a setting. I should try that. Webhook chat messages. Bum, bum. Ba-ba-da, ba-ba-da. Oh, my hand's starting to cramp. I'll give it a second here. Hey, can you stop? Are you gonna bite me all day? You gonna bite?
People have these attitudes because of people like Candace Owens. I don't think you find a ton of people in real life that are like, oh yeah, like college degrees suck, they're worthless, they don't do anything. That just, every single area in the world that you go to, everything on the ground is going to betray that. That reality is just not going to be there. Like this idea of like all these Starbucks workers have all these degrees and blah blah, that's just not true. Like if you look at the average education of a level Starbucks worker compared to like an office worker, the office worker is always going to be higher. Like that's just not the case. Yeah, you can always find like odds and ends or people that didn't make it or whatever. But again, we have to speak in aggregates. We've got to speak in averages because we're talking to large groups of people. Oh, also, me. I should have, I can't believe I hate it when I get good emails out. I didn't think about it on my own. Somebody sent me such a good email about
bigger. Forgot. We're gonna have
It was like the best step-by-step I've ever... No, I'm just kidding. Hold on. It was recent. Okay, not here. I'm not gonna be able to find it. Some guy emailed me, and he brought up a really good point. Fuck, who just joined? Oh, what's up?
Bro, what's up? Bro, what is happening, bro? What is this that I'm here?
What's happening for what?
I think you're being disconnected, bro.
About what?
Bro, poor people don't just go to school for free. I've been reading some of your
What part do you think, wait, what part specifically do you think I'm incorrect about?
So, I don't know everything, but I saw something like, hey, poor people just need to apply for FAFSA and you don't have a ton of student loans and a whole bunch of other stuff. Do you think that's true?
Depending on how poor you are, yeah.
So I'm from a place. No, go ahead.
Well, okay, before we get too far into this, because I don't never know anybody's backgrounds. Okay, from the people that I knew that had financial difficulty growing up, the issues for poor people going to college usually weren't directly related to the tuition. It would be one of two things: either one, it's because the child was working to support the family, and if the child goes to school, he can't work to support the family. Financial aid can't really compensate that. Or two, you could borrow to cover the cost of school and everything else, but you'd have to borrow even more because it's hard to work and go to school at the same time and also cover your own costs as well. So these are like the two big prohibiting factors. It wasn't generally just like, oh, I can't afford the tuition, or oh, I can't get a loan for the tuition. Those were usually the two things that we're fucking about. Yeah, but also if you're retarded, like if you fuck up school, if you're getting like all D's or whatever, and you're poor, yeah, you're probably fucked. Like, sure.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, there's a lot of factors there. Yeah, and I'm talking about the most simplified case. I understand, yeah, once people start working and FAFSA is like, yo, well, at least when we were growing up, I don't know what it looks like now, but yeah, like it kind of gets you if you made income and blah, 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 all of that. But yeah, like so where I'm from, the average yearly income is $22,000 a year. Almost everyone from my community is a single parent. So it's the most ideal of ideal FAFSA situations. I don't think I know anyone, like I was lucky. I got told to go into computer science and, you know, like we make a lot of money, right? Everyone else is in crippling debt for probably the rest of their lives. Like, and then when I say everybody, I literally
crippling debt
like,
for what? What do you mean?
Like 95, I would say, if I'm just throwing out wild numbers, right? But I would say 95% of the people that I went to school with have told me that they have student loans and they'll never pay them off.
How much is their student loan debt on average?
If I had to say on average, what I've heard from most people is from like 30 to 50K. Now, one of the things that I saw you and Candace talking about was out of state. Out of state is definitely wild. I think you agree that if you go to school out of state, like, you're probably going to have more than 100K in student loans, right?
Sure.
Okay. Yeah. So in-state people though, like, I think I saw you just looking at stuff. I'm sorry, I was like playing Yu-Gi-Oh, but yeah, like when you factor in room and board, fucking meal plan plus tuition plus fees, I easily, like, I was lucky because I had a bunch of scholarships because I was smart. But I'm pretty sure my schooling costed about 70K.
For your whole degree?
Yeah, and I just have a bachelor's. Yes, pretty sure. Now I only have about 20K left in student loans, and I could pay that.
Is that including, when you say 70K for your degree? Is that including? Did you did in-state? If you do in-state, do they make you do? Did they make you stay on campus?
So you had to stay on campus your first year. After that, you could live off campus. But the costs off campus, a lot of the time, were pretty much the same as living on campus. Like if I wouldn't have got like I got the SMART grant, I got Pell grant, I had Hope, I had, if you name it, I had it. If it was like a GPA requirement or blah, 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 I had it. But had I not had those things, bro, I still would have been worked out good because I went to school for computer science. But I would be in just as much debt as everyone else.
Gotcha. So for the first thing that you said, $30,000 in student loan debt, I don't think is like crippling. Like you'll never pay it off debt. I think that's probably an okay trade for assuming you get your degree. I think 30K in student loan debt is acceptable because I think the average is around like 28 or to 30 is what I've seen.
But that's 30K, and I had a whole bunch of scholarships. And now, granted, I did take out more loans than I should have, so I actually should subtract some of this out. In college, I knew, I was like, yo, I'm gonna do this computer science thing and I'm gonna get paid. So whatever the max fucking loan amount I could take out, which I think was $5,500 a semester I was taking out. So maybe I should say my education probably costed around like 55, probably total. And the other thing I would say, like, I know you were talking about counselors and stuff, and I only heard parts of the conversation, so correct me where this might seem like it doesn't apply, but when you're in a poor area like I was from, school counselors just don't help you. They're not real. Like, they don't talk to students. There's no like, hey, what do you plan to do for college? Like, you see them rarely. And specifically in my case, there was a scholarship I could apply. I could have won, which was like $4,000 more or something. It's called Georgia Star Grant, Student. And all I had to do was take the SAT and get one more question right than the other time that I took it. And I never knew this because nobody ever told me, oh, you can get this Star Student thing if your score is XYZ. So like counselors, bro, if you from like a rough neighborhood, they're hired by the school probably because they're forced to hire one. And they like talk to kids with behavior problems and shit.
Sure.
But
so
when it comes to like future planning,
so real quick. So I don't think I necessarily disagree with what you're saying, but I think that the advice then to kids has to be different. I don't think the issue, I think that when people look at poor people, people think that the issue is just like a money issue, like full stop. How much money do you have? And then that dictates your path forward. But it's strange because those same people in other instances will acknowledge that wealthy people have a whole bunch.
I also want us to keep in mind too, I know I haven't said much in context, but I'm just listening too, we're just hanging out. The big argument that he's coming across is that, is it more worth it to go into a trade, or is it more worth it to go into some highly educated, form of college or university, right? Like, that's the argument. And it's not necessarily, I don't even right now he's going through all the data because like there's the argument that a lot of people in the right are putting out is that you don't want to go get kind of white collar work. You'll get out of debt much quicker by working in a trade. And for some stuff this is true. For like, if you consider someone going into like a gender studies versus somebody in a trade, that is true. But if you go to school to become like a engineer of some sort, especially any type of engineer, or a doctor or a lawyer or a journalist or anything along those lines, then you'll end up making a lot more money in the long run. And then so whatever debt you have doesn't really matter at that point, which is true. Now people are coming on and arguing that it doesn't matter where they're from, it's better for them to not do schooling altogether. And it's weird that you have people that are coming in that are like, I did this schooling, I'm advantaged because I went through all these things. But it's like, well, we're not talking about just going to school and just going through the motions. We're actually like, I didn't go to any school out of high school. I went straight into work too. But like across the board, the guys who did go to a college or university for any type of whatever, they always end up making easily twice as much. It doesn't matter the kind of debt that you're going into. And so something like $30, $40, $50, $100,000 in debt feels like a lot. But when you're making $120,000 a year, you can pay it off pretty quick. 5 to 10 years, that's not a problem.
Of other advantages besides their money. I feel like that when it comes to poor kids, a lot of the issues aren't just like how much money you have, is that they don't have the infrastructure in place to orient them towards all of this money that might be out there. So for instance, like I went to a prep high school and all of my classmates were fucking loaded, okay? But even despite that, they talked to us so much. We did like a whole semester on the different grants to apply for that the state or city might offer, like all this financial aid, blah, 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 right? Yeah, we had so much information about this. Like it was like one of the halves of like going to college, besides doing admissions and picking like where you wanted to major in and where you wanted to go and all that, was like how to navigate the financial aid system. There was so much information about it. And so for like poor kids, my guess guess is going to be, I've never gone to a poor high school, but my guess is going to be is that infrastructure isn't there for them to negotiate, or not to negotiate, to navigate it. Yeah. But then like, I think that if that's the case, the advice that you would give wouldn't just be, don't go to college, it's bad for you. Don't go to college, that's shit. It would be like, hey, here is a whole bunch of...
we're gonna pause this for a second. We'll take a look at what Frito's post is here.
Right. Patch day, I streamed 7 hours, testing out a lot of the new changes and heroes, getting a feel for the meta. Some key takeaways. The tank experience is significantly better for a few reasons. A few key characters that are good at healing tanks are now better. Lifeweaver's still not so great. He deals a little bit more burst healing, but specifically Ana is out of the gutter from D tier to actually playable, I think, with the nade increase. Big impact of either damage, so she can actually win duels against certain things, and actually healing, so that you can work your way up to nano. More health on the nade. I saw more plays happening there. Then on top of that, Reinhardt I do think is pickable again against some things, because the extra health as well as Fire Strike means he's going to be a threat, especially with like window through Fire Strike, cleaving up to get more ult charge at least, and having more armor health overall helps him, along with other healers being a bit better. So I saw a lot of tanks get played. The counterpick situation is still severe, but tank and support in general are just better with that 5% on the DPS roll passive going down, because there's a bit of a ripple effect with especially tanks that have armor health, that if you are able to add healing into a tank with armor health, there's a bit of a ripple effect to the sustain the character's going to have.
That's always been that way, Frito. That's not a
where
new thing.
If they could chunk you out of armor, you'll never get healed, whereas 30% damage reduction on your armor health, it really starts to add up, and healing a tank is definitely better than it was before in the previous patch, but you're going to have to play your team comps. I'm still seeing a lot of tanks get played. Oddly enough, I'm pretty sure that Roadhog buff, quote-unquote, is actually a nerf, where it seems like the hook range is setting the targets to 5 meters, not 3, like it says. Once that actually gets fixed, he's going to be insane, because I was playing Hog today against a lot of characters, and Hog still seems better for sure with just the Pigpen upgrade, where it doesn't have vertical knockback. The target's kind of glued to the ground, making them very easy to hit. It's like Ravenous Vortex, but much better with that. A lot of my tanks are getting buffed, where Mauga, Ram, Roadhog, Reinhardt, like it's feeling pretty good. We went on a big win streak overall, went up 1 sub-tier and a half, so I'm enjoying tank, and I think it's in a better spot. But we're going to have to see as we kind of stabilize in the rank system. Still having the effect, I think, of the SR reset, and because it's patch day, a lot of players seem to be coming back, so the matchmaking is all over the place. But a big W for this patch, where they're kind of proving they can balance this version of the game. I was a little bit worried when there was picks like Moira being kind of the default go-to, but I think the secret is making Ana playable so that a very sustained just I run away support is less good, where they're not going to knock Moira down anytime soon, but if they knock the other offensive supports up, particularly Ana was the one that was like a sore thumb that I thought just wasn't really able to hold her position and get much value at all. Now all of a sudden, because remember, like DPS...
This is mostly because the game is like in a stage of flux at the moment. I kind of agree with Frito in many ways. There's a lot of points, but I don't think it's something that's going to last for
going
long.
Down, Nano Boost is better. It's kind of strange to think of it that way, but with the 5% going down, Nano Boost on tanks, especially ones that have armor with Nano Boost, they're getting a lot more sustain overall. The impact of reducing that healing number, do feel it so far. I didn't think it was going to be that significant, but there's a few key interactions, especially with durability, where the target's not really getting focused down as much as it used to. Because remember, like, with all the problems Ana had before, nanoing a target and them getting some 20% on the healing, it's like, sure, you get the buff from Nano Boost to be able to take more damage, but then you're getting the nerf for how much healing you get, so it's not like you can face tank everything with Nano. Now that's kind of equalizing a little bit. So let me know what you guys think about the patch so far. We'll be grinding it again tomorrow, and then probably making a pretty fast tier list based on our observation.
It feels okay. It feels okay. It feels very different. I think they're doing like a real knife's edge balance too, in a way. Like, tanks can feel okay eventually, but if you look at tank Q times in comparison to DPS Q times at the moment, they are scaled way off. It is a very different experience.
stuff that you need to know about so that you can navigate the system in a better way. Because if you are poor and you do decently in school, there is so much educational opportunity, so much money out there for you. But I mean, I do agree with you. If you don't know about it, then yeah, you might just say like, fuck it. Maybe you just grab like part of a Pell Grant and then you take out a whole bunch of like private loans and now you're like financially fucked and it takes you 6 years to get a kind of a shitty bachelor's degree. I do agree with you that is possible. Yeah, 100% for sure. Yeah.
Yeah, and another thing that I would say, like right before I joined, I heard you saying like all of these rich people send their kids to college. So I'm always going to agree people should go to college, just like you said. I think people choose stupid degrees. I think we even talked about that before. I think people choose stupid degrees, but generally speaking, go to school for literally software engineering or computer science and get rich. It's like that easy. But I think rich people are giving like financial advice to people that were in their previous position. So yes, all rich people are going to send their kids to college and blah, 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 because we understand that economically, in most situations, that's the best way to get ahead, right? But they're giving advice to people who don't have the information that we have. And a lot of people...
We'll pause this. Oh, we got the final season 2.
The final season 2 is about to drop, and man, does it look crazy. CNS, a fictional hacking group, has broken into the game code and changed the world to be, well, kind of glitchy and wild and...
Oh, cool. Okay, so they're having like an event where the world itself, because like the finals is built around being a digital game world. I do want to point out, I do think it's like a B tier game or maybe a C tier game in terms of its longevity. It's really good. It's a fun, like, quick game to play with a night of friends. And I know a lot of people that love it, but I don't know if they love it as long term as many games, or as many of the long term games that we end up loving are English.
Colorful. The new glitchy gadgets let you create holes in surfaces and then close them back up for stealth insertions. You can also completely reconstruct objects in the environment to become other stuff. They also have anti-gravity grenades, portal grenades. It's pretty wild stuff, and it shows just how much freedom the devs have with their game design. Now, I've been a fan of the concept of the finals right from the start. A game within a game allows the devs to do just about anything they want for the sake of fun, and it's absolutely showing with Season 2. I got to jump into some early rounds and check out the new gadgets and map the other day. Shout out to Embark for inviting me. And basically, CNS have hacked this new map and made it super colorful. It's sort of an 80s fever dream, which very much fits in line with the world game concept. Now, there's cool new guns and gadgets that I definitely want to talk about, but one of the more interesting things or enjoyable things that I found right away was the new game mode. And to be honest, generally speaking, limited time events or new game modes in these types of games don't always pique my interest, but the finals has been needing a little bit more of a brain-off way to play, and the new 5v5 mode provides just that. It's basically a King of the Hill or Payload style game mode with a moving platform that bashes through buildings and pretty much any sort of object in its way. The team that spends the most time on this platform during the round wins, but it doesn't always mean that standing on the platform is the best strategy. There can be lots of overlooks and ways to take people out, so there's usually a battle surrounding this moving platform, and I gotta say it's very fun. And having only 2 teams pretty much negates the whole third-party problem that the other modes have, but there's still enough players to keep the action constant. I had a great time just jumping in, getting some kills, dying, trying to defend the platform, and just respawning without having to do complex math in my head and figure out what the best angle of approach and time to
I'm not sure what it is about this game, because I feel like there's a lot of opportunities. So there's a lot of things that are actually really, really good for it, and it has going for it. But maybe it's like the feel of the movement. Something feels a little soft. Possibly it is the hitboxes, or just like, I don't know if it's the movement in general. But the game doesn't feel as like impactful when you're hitting somebody as most other shooter games do.
Attack was that usually is common in the other mode. I think this is a great addition to the game and a very much needed one for a more casual way to approach the finals. And frankly, when it comes to the way that people play the finals, well, Season 1 had some issues with it, and I think the devs are definitely acknowledging many of those with Season 2. With Season 1, it took so long to unlock new Battle Pass ranks and level up your character to unlock that new gear that, well, frankly, you probably paid for. I think a lot of the players simply got burned out. I know I did, and I was kind of annoyed that I had dropped money for tiers that I wasn't really willing to grind to get. And in the later half of the season, the devs actually ended up just doubling the XP that you would get toward the Battle Pass, but that only made it so that you needed to play like 50 hours to unlock everything instead of 100. Now,
yeah, I think maybe too, I didn't unlock that many weapons or unlock that much. It just didn't feel overly rewarding in many cases.
Luckily, and hopefully, as I haven't really gotten to test this out yet, the devs have some new solutions to make that seasonal grind less of a grind and more enjoyable. They're introducing a new contract system on top of the previous XP earn rate. It's pretty straightforward if you've done daily contracts before, and it's simple things like get X amount of damage or play X amount of matches in exchange for some additional XP. There's also a new circuit system that is kind of similar to daily challenges, but they're going to unlock at different times throughout the season, and each tier is going to have a whole bunch of challenges that you can complete to unlock new cosmetic items like emotes and additional flair. And again, the challenges seem like they're basic things such as get X number of kills or whatever like that. So hopefully those upgrades make the season far more appealing and less grindy. Now, as was the case with Season 1, the cosmetic upgrades really are amazing with Season 2. Embark has certainly proven themselves in the art department, and I'm really digging the TV characters and everything that they've got going on. Now, any way you slice it, the finals is a pretty high skill game, and it's attracted a lot of players who want to play it more competitively, but the tools to do that haven't really been in place for Season 1. Season 2 is bringing a big change to a lot of that stuff. They're updating the ranking system to be more fair and balanced around teamwork. I'm not entirely sure how big of a difference this will make to ranked play, but it seems like they're doing a substantial overhaul to it. And they're also adding private matches as a brand new feature. If you can get at least 6 players together, you can host a private match for the purpose of practicing strategies or even hosting your own tournament. This is huge for the competitive world, and it means the finals can actually build a community around tournaments. Assuming
it will a little bit, but if they don't open things up to like full custom servers, it's going to go the same way as Overwatch. Nobody's going to use it.
that's what the players want, but it does look like there's a lot of people who want to do that. And alternatively, it could just become a really fun way to have a tournament among friends. Just generally a great and much needed feature. Now, of course, there's also some new primary weapons. The FAMAS is probably my favorite of the three. It's for the medium class, and it provides a really good medium range burst fire weapon. It's still got its iron sights, which I do find is a funny quirk of this game. No red dots for the finals. And then the heavy gets a slug shotgun, which is definitely a harder weapon to use, but it'll give the heavy more of a skill shot way to play, and I'm kind of curious to see how it fares in the wild, where some of the heavy's base weapons are already very powerful. Introducing one where you have to hit your shots or you have to go for headshots will be interesting to see. The light class gets the 93R burst fire pistol. It's a cool little gun. I didn't try it much because I'm not a huge light class player, but generally speaking, the finals primary weapons are somewhat secondary to a lot of the cool new gadgets and abilities. One of the coolest new things is the medium class getting the ability to make a hole in surfaces, and it is quite cool. You do have to use it in the ability slot though, so you're sacrificing a heal beam or a turret, but it is a really neat way to create a stealthy entry point to rooms or areas. Something that this game has kind of lacked up until now, as usually everyone's just busting through walls like the Kool-Aid Man, but now an entire team could potentially sneak up behind you before even having to open fire or explode a wall. There's also the Data Reshaper gadget, which turns existing stuff in the environment into other stuff. I'll be honest, I'm having a hard time trying to come up with good use cases for this one. I think you can essentially morph, say, mines or turrets into something else, but you have to get pretty close to do it, so I'll be curious to see if this becomes a desirable pick or just kind of a neat, wonky little thing you can do. There's now an anti-gravity grenade, which is kind of neat, and I need to explore the use cases on this one a bit further. Again, I'm not sure if messing with the world with this one is going to be as useful as just straight up killing players or blowing things up, so we'll again see if this one gets a lot of use. The light class gets a portal grenade now, which is very cool. I can see this one being super useful for certain metas. I think it'll need a bit more practice and sort of intimate map knowledge to know when is the best time to use them, but it's kind of a big brain play compared to something like just throwing C4 and blowing things up. Overall, it seems like Embark is giving players a lot more tools to explore their game world, and I'm all for it. I'm also really digging the whole theme of this season with the hacking and glitching and the wild colors. It seems like they're really trying to make the game more accessible, less grindy, and give us more ways to play it with friends without really watering down the whole experience. In my opinion, the 5v5 mode is one of the highlights, and it's kind of just like a real party mode experience that takes the cool stuff from Payload or other games like Overwatch and Team Fortress 2 and throws in a ton of crazy destruction that you get with the finals, and just lets you have fun breaking the meta with a full team of heavies sledgehammering their way through everything in sight. And for the series players, there's now a ton more tools and an improved matchmaking system to try and take your serious competitive gaming to the next level. In my opinion, Embark is showing how quickly they can ingest feedback and get it implemented into the game, and I'll be honest, I'm impressed. The speed at which they're doing things is pretty uncommon from a large development team, and I know that's sort of key to their company's philosophy, is using all the latest tools and tech to get things done and iterate quickly. If they can keep this up, then I think the finals has a very bright future. I'm excited to hear what you guys think about the finals update when it drops. Let me know in the comments. If you guys enjoyed this video, don't forget to leave me a like, hit that subscribe button for more content like it, ding the notification bell to beat the YouTube algorithm with me, and up next, check out...
Ooh, why is my hand? I'm gonna switch to my left hand for my mouse. I feel like I'm getting cramps. Sitting here all day. Okay. Complaining and press pro. What? Okay. CS2. What is this?
Most games are a product of their time, but what if the times change and the games remain? What are they supposed to do about that? And how are they supposed to shake past controversies that they'd rather leave behind? In 1999, Counter-Strike was an unofficial mod made by 2 people. These days, it's one of the most played games of all time. And over the last 25 years, a lot of stuff has changed. It is now a billion-dollar title, a thriving hub around which thousands of people make a living. And I suppose with that, Valve now has an obligation to do what's best for that community. Livelihoods are at stake. Indeed, it makes me wonder if the 2 in Counter-Strike 2's name isn't just there to signify changes to the graphics and gameplay, but also to help distance the series from the stuff that happened previously. So if someone points out that Counter-Strike used to have something that's now deemed controversial, they can be like, ah, that was Counter-Strike 1. This is Counter-Strike 2. Dust 2 used to have the Israeli Defense Forces fighting the terrorists in a Middle Eastern setting. Used to. It's now completely disconnected from that. First by moving the map from the Middle East to a Moroccan theme, and by swapping the terrorists for the more comically themed leaked crew, and now for Counter-Strike 2, they finally replaced the IDF with the SAS models. Intentional or not, these changes have helped distance part of the game from comparisons with the real world in ways that, right now, are probably for the best. I want to stress now that these changes, and the pressure to change, aren't necessarily bad things. Counter-Strike is just treading new ground by having existed for long enough to have the world change around it enough to actually require changing the game again for. So let's spell out the obvious. Money drives the scene and changes the way things are. For YouTubers such as myself, we're heavily influenced by YouTube's monetization policies, and we go to great lengths to avoid demonetization, which you can do by not saying fuck, because why the fuck would a YouTuber risk losing money simply by saying fuck when it could easily be avoided by simply not saying fuck? Likewise with Counter-Strike, it's an esport driven by tournaments that are driven by sponsors and adverts. And to keep these sponsors coming back means minimizing the risk to their brands by keeping the content of the game as clean and as family friendly as possible. So this means avoiding associations with real world drama and controversies. And of course by not saying fuck.
Apologies for the swear words. Let's keep it clean. It's a family show.
And livelihoods now depend on it remaining that way. So even if changes won't impact Valve directly, they may still choose to do them, simply to make things easier for third-party tournaments, and for the community surrounding the game. Because what they don't want are advertisers pulling out of Counter-Strike and going to other games that are deemed safer and more family-friendly instead. When streaming, the War Owl encountered somebody in a Counter-Strike match with an inappropriate profile picture.
Oh crap, I didn't see that! RIP! RIP! I ran out of time!
Unable to do anything about it, and live on stream, he decided to quit the match. And this happened several times. I did actually look for examples of where people have been banned for streaming matches where other people within the match have behaved inappropriately, and I actually couldn't find any. But so what? Moral didn't deem that suitable to display on his stream and sacrificed his match for it. Good on him. Valve eventually rolled out a profile picture, player name, and text blocks in order to help people avoid this kind of scenario. That's not to say that Counter-Strike has only been toned down. There are some ways in which I feel the game has got more offensive since Global Offensive. The gore effects are now more visceral than ever before, as blood spatters across the ground and leaves deformed flesh where the player is hit. I'm actually surprised they've gone down this route, when previously they even featured a low violence mode, also known as French mode, to get around German rules about blood and violence in games.
Wait,
when Counter-Strike was first created, the game was all about realism. The makers obsessed over realistic details on the guns and used real, named factions such as the IRA. And it was the realistic elements of this game that helped gain traction by distancing itself from the unreal experiences found in Unreal Tournament and in Quake.
My hands all
These days, the game
up.
isn't so focused on realism, nor is its appeal so heavily tied to that aspect of it anymore. It now has rainbow-coloured guns, a cartoony art style, and fictional characters with humorous personalities. Is all this done in an attempt to appeal to a younger generation of gamers? A general trend with what's popular? Or simply necessary to keep Counter-Strike free from reputation-damaging drama and controversy? Or is it a bit of all these things? If these changes are done correctly, they can even serve to benefit the game. When Dust 2 got leaked crew models back, you'd be hard-pressed to find anybody online who disliked that change. They were fun and zany and paved the way for all the other character models that eventually got rolled out. It might no longer make sense for Inferno to be defended by Lieutenant Rex Crikey and a bunch of scuba divers, nor for the attackers to be a team of Rambos led by Condom Man. But it's kind of fun, and makes it harder for people to point the finger at Counter-Strike for being tied to real-world events and tragedies in some way. The one change I did notice was with shoots recently when it was added back into Counter-Strike 2. The terrorist team, which used to all be Somali pirates, were now nowhere to be seen, and to me that character model was what made shoots, and indeed several of the arms race maps, in CSGO feel kind of unique. And I mean CSGO because before then players got to pick their own character models in-game. Is Counter-Strike to blame for school shootings in America? No, but that didn't stop a student from getting expelled after making a map of his school. It was a good map too. To the horror of parents everywhere, I know for a fact that literally every mapper ever to exist has attempted a map of their own school at some point, because it's just a place you spend so much of your time that it's kind of cool to imagine mapping it out in your favourite game. It's just that most people don't finish school maps because they quickly discover how much work is required and how little it actually looks like your school.
Oh yeah, that kid
so maybe
did a
it's just
really
as well
good
we all
job.
abandon it, given the dire consequences for the one mapper who managed to pull it off.
Wow.
Props to him though.
Yeah,
like I
props to
said,
him.
great map. But I don't think it's coincidence there are so few maps based around schools. It's simply more risk than it's worth. Killing children simply isn't cool outside of the Harry Potter universe. It's why I'm so impressed that Ready or Not had the balls to actually feature a school-based map, albeit one that's more of a university, which somehow makes it more acceptable or whatever. I'm honestly surprised that in Counter-Strike 2 the game still mentions terrorists, because it makes the game such an easy target. Take a look at this document, sent from the EU Counter-Terrorism Coordinator, suggesting an overlap between terrorism and video games, mentioning Counter-Strike several times in it, in seemingly incriminating ways. I'm actually going to save this for another video where I go through all the stuff mentioned in this report, not just because it serves as rage bait for any Counter-Strike player to read, but because I really did find it interesting to look at what's being said in here, and then to head to the source to see what the sources say. I would summarise it as being a bunch of half-truths, where the important stuff is lost in translation. And where better to demonstrate this than here, where Counter-Strike is described as being a game where players go through missions as a terrorist. Yeah, it's an interesting read. But my point is, Counter-Strike doesn't do itself any favours by openly mentioning terrorists. It could so easily have been cops and robbers, or cowboys and Indians, or red versus blue, and while those things would draw controversy for other reasons, it would still probably be safer than for the game to openly mention terrorists. Although, I just noticed the reference to terrorists has got less and less obvious over time. If I start with super old pre-panorama footage, it says terrorists in large writing. Post-panorama, slightly smaller writing, probably just coincidence. But now in CS2, terrorists win. No terrorist at all, only spoken. Terrorists win. I reckon this was a deliberate change by Valve for Counter-Strike 2, and maybe the day will come when even the spoken reference is done away with, perhaps replacing it with some musical chime or whatever instead. Should Counter-Strike comply with what China wants? Because we are, whether we like it or not.
Defenders
Perfect
win.
World is its own version of the game, with various adjustments to the maps, like the removal of various logos and symbols. Monastery isn't featured at all, perhaps because it's based in Tibet. For the most part, these changes do not affect us in any way, but there's one that does. Since China demands skins without stuff like skulls, if a skin maker has a skull design and the design is accepted, then they have to go to the effort of creating another one just for Perfect World, simply to appease China. But will they bother with that? Or is it easier just to make skin designs without skulls on in the first place? One of the skin makers I talked to even said they preferred the non-skull design they made. But the fact of the matter is, they're still having their designs shaped and influenced by what China wants. I covered a map the other year, Die Voina, which contained a hidden room showing pictures and information about Russia invading Ukraine. Valve blocked access to this map in Russia, though I don't know if they removed it because they were asked to, or if they preemptively removed it to avoid trouble. Gambling. If you need proof choices are driven by money, look
Someone
no
always
further than the
reported
case
it,
unboxing scene. Short story, France didn't like loot crates, so Valve changed the way they worked in France to get around this. They could have just removed loot crates, but they didn't because money. Longer story, France never deemed loot crates to be proper gambling, but they stated concerns about them in 2018 and intended to investigate them further. But before this was done, and loot crates potentially and properly banned, Valve rolled out the X-ray feature in 2019. This changed case unboxing so that instead of spending money to see what's inside a case you're unboxing, you can see what's inside that case before you spend money on it. But then you have to spend money opening that case before you can see what's inside the next one, and so on. So in other words, gambling but with extra steps. This X-ray feature doesn't follow the spirit of the law, but you can see why Valve did it because there's a lot of money to be made from loot boxes, and they really wanted to just get on with that without drawing unnecessary attention from regulators.
An X-ray scanner
So there's a bit more to this
reveal
story than
anything.
first meets
Get
the
him inside
eye,
the container.
a few more shades of grey, but I disagree with Valve here, even though I totally understand why they did what they did. In fact, I disagree with them because I know why they did what they did. Steele was made an example of for match fixing. Back in 2015 when he led the team I Buy Power. What they did was to bet money on them losing the match and then they proceeded to lose the match. And Valve came down on them hard, banning Steele for life. Though this was eventually dropped to 10 years, meaning that the ban expires next January. And he tweeted that, against all odds, he has never given up. He is ready to be defined by something new and more positive. And with CS2, I wonder if Counter-Strike is hoping for the same thing. To put an entire number between it and any previous dramas and controversies it may have been embroiled in. Most games come and go and are a product of their time, but as a game that has spanned many different times, I think it's only fair that a game like Counter-Strike gets to reset itself once in a while. It is, after all, now older than most of the pro players who compete in it. The thing is, no matter how hard Valve tries, Counter-Strike will always be involved in drama. It's just too easy a target for people wanting something to blame or to distract from the bigger issues. Valve can mitigate potential problems in advance, they can deal with it correctly after, but there's still that little bit in between that will always remain a problem, and they're just going to have to hope it doesn't escalate too far at that stage. So please, Valve, sort out the cheater issue that people think the game has.
That people think the game has in comparison to other ones. I like that statement. Give me just 1 second. I'm gonna grab some water. We'll mess with the scammer for a little bit, and then we'll keep going. Give me a sec. Hey, you're okay. Nope, been there, done that. Overwork on a certain area, yep. Alright, just gonna grab water. Have a great day. Alright. Okay, what do we got? What do we got? Hey, bird. You were friendly a few seconds ago. Okay. What are we looking at?
Buckle up for some serious quantum stuff. The company D-Wave, which is pursuing a unique approach to quantum computing, has reported a breakthrough. They say they've managed a computation that would have taken a conventional computer millions of years, which, if true, is the most impressive quantum computation we've seen so far. But is it a computation? Let's have a look. Imagine a bunch of tiny magnets all influencing each other. Physicists call this the Ising model. Riveting stuff, I know, but bear with me. While simple versions of the Ising model can be solved analytically, for difficult couplings between the magnets, their influence on each other can become very complex, including phase transitions in which the collective behavior suddenly changes. Simulating these transitions on a regular computer becomes a nightmare as the system gets larger. And yes, this is the same Ising model that was used by IBM for an attempt to demonstrate that even small noisy quantum computers outperform conventional computers. But as I just told you in a recent episode, another group then did the IBM calculation to better accuracy on a conventional computer. To understand what D-Wave has done, I first need to tell you how D-Wave's approach differs from other quantum computing approaches. D-Wave doesn't attempt to execute logical operations on single qubits. They instead use what's called quantum annealing. Sounds like a hippie retreat, but means you set up a large collection of qubits in a suitable configuration, then you let those qubits relax into an energetically ideal state, which they do on their own, and that ideal state gives you the answer you want to know. D-Wave has been working with thousands of qubits for years, whereas IBM only just reached 1,000 late last year. However, because the two approaches are so different, it makes no sense to just compare the numbers of qubits. Some physicists have argued that D-Wave's machines are not really quantum computers. I'll come back to this later, but first let's look at what they did. The D-Wave team used two of their devices to simulate these phase transitions of the coupled magnet system for a larger collection of magnets than anyone has been able to calculate before. The tricky bit is verifying that it's right, because, you know, no one's been able to do it before. So what they did is that they compared the result of their calculation, that's the blue squares, with the cases of small numbers of magnets where it can be calculated on a conventional computer, that's the line. As you can see, they agree very well. And for a large number of magnets, there are some mathematical approximations from which we know that some quantities of the magnet system obey general scaling laws. Again, their simulation fits remarkably well to the expectation. You can see this in this figure on the right, where the data points are from their simulation and the rectangles are the theoretical predictions. They then estimate how long it'd take to do this calculation on the best current supercomputers. As an example, they use the Frontier supercomputer located at Oak Ridge National Laboratory in Tennessee. It's currently one of the most powerful computers in the world and performs more than 1 billion operations per second. The D-Wave group writes that even for a number of magnets smaller than what they did their calculation for, the hypothetical runtime on the Frontier supercomputer would surpass millions of years. It's actually really impressive. Honestly, I'm much more impressed by this than by the IBM result from last year, though I have to warn you that this is a preprint and has not yet been peer-reviewed. Now let me come back to the question whether this is a quantum computation. The word computation in general is somewhat vague. You could argue, for example, that any kind of material like this spoon, which I totally coincidentally have here, in some sense calculates the electron bands of a metal. And it's really good at doing this. So in some sense, the spoon is a quantum computer.
Wait, is that... No, that was...
Calculates the electron bands of a metal. And it's really good at doing this. So in some sense, the spoon is a quantum computer, which would beat any supercomputing cluster. The reason we don't call spoons quantum computers is that they're one-trick spoons. You can't ask them any other question except what a spoon does. Also, as everyone knows, spoons aren't real. We really only speak of quantum computers if you can program the device, and this is where things get complicated. The D-Wave computers can be programmed to some extent, but they're not as universally programmable as the devices that IBM and...
I'm pretty sure this is all cooling. All of these little tiny things, these connections, is literally just cooling.
Google are working on. This is why D-Wave, if you look at the title of the paper, now very carefully says that they're doing quantum simulations rather than calculations on a quantum computer. When they started their quantum simulations, D-Wave was heavily criticized for not making this difference clear. And while I understand why scientists raised this criticism, I always felt it was a little unfair, because no matter what you call it, they're doing interesting things. Whether you want to call it a calculation or simulation doesn't really matter. I actually think that D-Wave is at this point probably in the best position to make a real impact in commercial applications. Though these applications...
It looks like they're ready. Like, that looks like a pretty simple setup to me.
...will be more limited than those of universal quantum computers. It's still better than a spoon. Yes, I've been talking about quantum physics again. It's without doubt one of the most exciting areas of science at the moment, though I may be a bit biased. If you want to learn more about how quantum physics works, you can check out my course on brilliant.org. It's a beginner's course.
It really seems like the only it's the only science that's continuously progressing. So we are waiting on Curie. We're gonna be playing a little bit of Helldivers later, which will be a blast. But we're waiting on Mr. Curie to join us. Who else do we have on that has it? Not that many. I think I used shitty shampoo today. We got the cheap shampoo in there. Never sits well with my scalp. You don't know the history of everything. Blah blah blah. Blah 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 blah. Do we see anything that looks super interesting? We could watch some DeFranco.
You beautiful bastards. You're watching the Philip DeFranco show again, and there's a lot of news to talk about again. So just buckle up, hit that like button like YouTube know you like these big daily dives into the news, and let's jump into it. Starting with, the crazy ex-girlfriend who keys your car, lights your clothes on fire, stalks you. It's a common trope in our culture. And those, they do exist, but crazy goes both ways. Crazy goes always. And so with that said, let me introduce you to maybe one of the most batshit insane crazy ex-boyfriends I've ever seen. 37-year-old Stephen Glosser from the great state of Georgia. Right? And according to an ATF investigator, which the story's wild, the ATF is involved here, Glosser met a woman through an online dating app. But the so-called quasi-relationship, it didn't last that long, and they ended up blocking each other, which is where it should have ended. But crazy persists, and Glosser goes, nah, I ain't having it. So he hits up his friend and roommate, Caleb Kinsey. And apparently, they're perfect roommates because they happen to be the same level of crazy. Because in December of 2022, they begin stalking and harassing this woman, with them allegedly sending her online threats, asking if she wants to die, saying the demons will kill her. But then, according to authorities, Glosser using an image of her house that she had shared with him to track down the address. And that is when these two devised their plot for vengeance, which allegedly includes, here's the list, acquiring and shooting arrows into her front door, getting and releasing a large python into her home to eat her young daughter, acquiring and mailing dog poop to her home, also mailing dead rats to her home, fucking scalping her, and finally blowing up her house. And actually, that last one, they allegedly went through with it, with authorities saying the men actually blew up her home with an improvised explosive while she and her daughter were inside. Though luckily for them, they somehow escaped the explosion unscathed. And so with this, we've seen the men quickly identified, arrested, and thrown in jail without bond. And now a federal grand jury has indicted them on numerous felony charges. And if convicted, these guys are facing decades in prison. And then, in entertainment and social media news, we have Mr. Beast at the center of another story. Though this time, it seems less about backlash or controversy and more of a debate. And that's because a lot of people online have latched onto this story from Polygon titled The End of the Mr. Beast Era. Jimmy Donaldson warped YouTube in his image, but YouTube is warping him back. And the bastards, they got me and a lot of people to click. Right? And this, it's not another profile. They didn't speak to Mr. Beast for this. Instead, they just looked at a ton of his content and interviews that he's done, and they talked about it, both with how he has changed YouTube and YouTube has changed him. Noting that in the past, he said that all he does is YouTube, that he basically lives in his recording studio, writing that he even tries to center his dating life around being with someone who will watch content that enriches him, or because he views his time as essentially too valuable to waste, previously saying on a podcast,
all I've ever wanted is someone to just read books with me, watch documentaries, and just learn with me. Because then if you're not learning, then it's I could make $100,000 an hour or whatever. So it's how can I justify spending an hour of time with you?
In the piece, noting that his time spent working, it's tedious, that he's so focused on virality that he won't upload something unless he knows that it's going to be a hit. He'll spend hours obsessing over something as small as the brightness of a thumbnail. That he always wants to be growing, that he always wants to be improving, which could be seen as a good thing. Then you have Polygon arguing that he has essentially lost sight of himself in the process. With that, noting that in the past, he said that personality can actually limit growth, and pointing to moments where he's essentially said that his personality is his work and content.
Just because I'm all in, I'm crazy. People shouldn't be me. I don't have a life. I don't have work-life balance. My personality, my soul, my being is making the best videos possible, entertaining my fans as best as I can. That is what exists on this planet. And I don't recommend it.
With Mr. Beast even saying that he's miserable sometimes because he's always obsessing over his content. With that, Polygon noting that even though he has been open about how taxing this is on him, it's somehow still viewed positively. Saying Donaldson candidly reveals the tough conditions that make his videos possible, like building a friend group that constantly criticizes his output and axing expensive, fully finished videos that he's unsure about. But because he's rich and famous, no matter how rocky it gets, his road is seen as aspirational. Right? And with this, the piece overall arguing that he's created this click-focused hustle culture on the platform. The outlet then even going on to talk about how there have been different eras on YouTube in the past, with the current one being defined by Mr. Beast. But also with that, noting we could be shifting to a new era where people want authenticity, to feel the other human on the other side of the screen. And with that, strategist Zachary Smigel telling the outlet, the return to an authentic era on YouTube comes down to a growing fatigue with sensationalism. I think we are witnessing a cultural shift, and then wondering if that's something that Mr. Beast will pivot to. And so with all this, we've seen the article's focus kind of results in a ton of people having big reactions online saying, no amount of success is worth erasing your personality because you view it as a liability for optimal content, as well as chasing algorithms in pursuit of fame is an annihilation of self and should not be a...
That's where I've always been I don't watch really that much Mr. Beast. I've always been hesitant with him because he always talks about the max amount of views. But there's a big difference between maxing your views and maxing the value that your community gets from the views, and keeping that, when you get too big, you don't have a community anymore, I've noticed that even with small increases in my own online presence, it's even just small growths, there's some people that disappear that you just don't, you wish didn't, but they weren't there for you as much as they were there for the way that your content and the way that your the construction of your thing works. So I imagine Mr. Beast feels this like 100-fold, millionfold.
And in general, it seemed like a lot of people just kind of found it to be a depressing read. But ultimately, here's what I'll say with this, even though there were a lot of different points and arguments and debates being had here. One, I don't think there's anything weird about him saying, like, I just want someone I can read books with and watch documentaries with. That just sounds like a guy that wants a partner that's interested in similar things. Two, regarding him saying, when I'm not working, he's thinking, I could be making $100,000 an hour, so how do I justify this? Well, the rate per hour there is not something I can relate to. The idea in general is something I can relate to. I mean, I can't speak for everyone, but I think it's also something that a lot of self-employed people can relate to. Right? I'm constantly thinking about the ROI of my time. What's the return on investment of my time? And I mean, it took me over a decade, probably like 15 years to realize you just got to look at things as different kinds of investment. Right? Money is important, livelihood's important, but I don't think I'm going to be on my deathbed wishing I made an extra 50K. I'm probably going to be wishing I spent more time with my kids. So I've just kind of expanded the idea of what kind of returns I can get on the investment of my time. Mental health and emotion when it comes to hanging out with my kids, my wife, my family, my friends. Being fulfilled there, I think it makes me also better at my job. Taking care of my health like I have over the past 2 years. Great for me physically, great for me mentally, and also in an ideal world, I live longer. I'm able to do what I want and love for even longer. Also, the idea of stressing out over a thumbnail, not stupid. It's literally half, if not more, of the reason someone watches your video. And while I know there's so much more here, the final thing that I'll...
Yeah, it really is. It really
touch on
is
is regarding the idea that we're like shifting eras when it comes to creators and content creation. One, I think if you watch some of Mr. Beast's newer content, not all of it, but an increasing amount, we're kind of seeing a decrease in like the brain rot. There has to be a change every 1.5 second kind of edits, more focused on people, the storytelling, stuff like that. And this also, as there's been an increase of people, yes, wanting more connection to creators. Even though there is a valid point in who you are is both your best thing and your worst thing. Like, because I am who I am, there are going to be some people that naturally gravitate towards me, and there are going to be other people that are like, I'm in no way interested, which is why it's understandable that a lot of content creators focus specifically on like, what is the content? It's also part of the appeal of having faceless channels, right? Where you don't even see the creator. But one, I think with the rise of TikTok and like this increase of just people who are everyday people that have gotten an audience again, which is kind of old school YouTube, people absolutely love that. And then there are also people that kind of bridge that divide. With one of my favorite examples is always being Casey Neistat. He is a filmmaker. He understands how to tug on the emotions, doing certain little things, but also in a really authentic and real way. Like his video from over a month ago, Sisyphus and the Impossible Dream, it's one of my favorite pieces of content on this platform. It's a fantastic personal story and a wild piece of content that connects to pretty much anyone that has a dream. But again, to close this out, bringing it back to Mr. Beast, I think it's hard to have a fully locked in opinion on this because he's still just in the middle of his story. And he is at a height that's really not been seen in this online age. Like if he uploads a video to his main channel and it only gets 100 million views, that video bombed. Like that's insane. That's 100 million YouTube views. This isn't like the fucking bullshit bloated stuff on Twitter/X. This guy is regularly doing numbers that we really haven't seen since like in America there were fewer than 10 channels. And I'm talking about TV channels like MASH, one of the most popular shows of all time. Its finale got just under 106 million views. And I really don't know if you can accomplish that without being uniquely and probably detrimentally obsessed. And then what you think you know about human trafficking might actually be wrong. But also, it's not your fault because it's a problem that's been severely impacted by misinformation over the last several years. And as we've seen, that misinformation can have serious consequences, right? It impacts efforts to combat actual trafficking, and it can also create setbacks for victims and survivors. Because we want to try to unpack all this, we spoke to Megan Cutter, the director of the National Human Trafficking Hotline. And one of the things she did is she explained that when a piece of misinformation takes off, it can bog down the hotline and law enforcement and take them away from more...
I love this. This is great. Yes, men do be really living like this sometimes and think it's okay. As long as they're happy.
Pressing concerns.
For example, in 2020, during the Wayfair conspiracy, we received a 400% increase in calls, texts, and chats to the National Human Trafficking Hotline over a very short period of time, which made it harder for us to actually help people who needed assistance and who were trying to get through to get help versus people who I think generally very well-intentioned were trying to report something that was both all the information was really publicly available and being reported in the media, and also was law enforcement confirmed to be something that was not happening.
Right, and the Wayfair example was one really big, elaborate conspiracy that blew up. But there are also much smaller, more everyday pieces of misinformation that have taken off, and you've probably encountered some through TikTok. Videos about your car tagged by zip ties or menus or getting lured in by abandoned car seats. But the thing is, Polaris, the nonprofit that operates the National Human Trafficking Hotline, they've debunked these time and time again, noting that this image that we have of victims being kidnapped by random strangers is inaccurate, because most victims were actually coerced by people they know, like their family family or their romantic partner. But the Department of Health and Human Services also noting that the image that we have of people being physically held or bonded, it's often inaccurate as well, as traffickers mostly use psychological means of control, with them explaining fear, trauma, drug addiction, threats against families, and a lack of options due to poverty and homelessness can all prevent.
This comment is actual brain rot. They actually meant TikTok to cover a genocide. Like, first, who is they, and like, what's the purpose?
Someone from leaving. Some individuals who experience trafficking may also be
brain
manipulated or believe they're in love with their trafficker, which can make them resistant to seeking help. And adding that traffickers might isolate victims from their families and control their money, their ID, their documents, all to trap them. But the videos explaining these realities, they just don't always get as much traction as the ones with misinformation. And that can even impact a victim's perception of trafficking, right? It makes it harder for them to identify themselves as a victim. And it can also make it harder for them to share their stories later on.
Some of the things that we've seen online when there is a lot of misinformation happening about trafficking is that people who speak out and say, you know, I'm a survivor of trafficking and this is how my situation happened, often face kind of backlash from other people online who say, that's not true, this is how this really happens. And so I think it can really impact the way people who are survivors of trafficking are able to tell their story and are believed and are seen in the public sphere.
We also have Cutter noting that these people spreading these false ideas often have good intentions, even if they're wrong. And it is important to note and understand that, right? Because shaming people actually doesn't do much to fight against misinformation. Right? Most of the time, they're not intentionally trying to interfere with efforts to fight trafficking. But the videos that go viral are genuinely scary, right? They stoke a lot of panic. And maybe some of these people have encountered a potentially threatening situation. Right? If you think you're being followed or you see something odd in public, yeah, use those street smarts. If you feel unsafe, still assess the situation. But to label everything that looks potentially dangerous as a human trafficking ploy, it's just not productive.
I think it really takes away from people understanding how trafficking really happens, and also takes attention and resources and conversation away from understanding that trafficking is inherently this exploitation of power and control, and that, you know, people are often in a trusting relationship with their trafficker. And so,
Mr. Tate, Mr. Andrew
so
Tate.
It switches the
So
conversation to something that doesn't help us actually prevent or identify trafficking.
And there are a lot of reasons that many people just inherently have a false image of what trafficking looks like. For example, in the past, Polaris has called out the Liam Neeson film Taken as a piece of media that really drove those false images home. It created a lot of fear. Solid movie, though. I'll pretty much always buy a ticket to watch Liam Neeson punch people. But Polaris noting that all these years later, the hotline's still dealing with the consequences of that movie, which, you know, spread false narratives about kidnapping, as well as stereotypes about it being like things that happen abroad and not stateside.
Even when I'm just talking with folks about what my job is, 9 times out of 10, someone brings up the movie Taken. So it's very much part of the way we talk about
I feel so bad
trafficking.
for this woman. Like, like the idea that people have trafficking from, or what is trafficking from just movies is a little crazy. Like, I think that's where I want to point this out. Just especially a lot of younger generation, but the more I noticed it with my generation of people, I'm going to call it Looney Tunes logic. Where if you grow up watching, you know, cartoons, you have all these like weird abstract ways that you think that the world works. But if you're, well, yeah, exactly. But the more that people start to like feed the world through computers, the less they have in terms of understanding the way actual IRL things happen. So this poor lady, when she's dealing with trafficking, everyone probably thinks that trafficking is like, yeah, you get dragged into the back of a van and the kind of thing. That's not really how it works at all.
Even though it's not how we see human trafficking happening in the United States.
Right, with Cutter going on to say that even though it was just a movie, it spawned massive cultural ripple effects. And because these myths and these false narratives have become so pervasive and ingrained in our culture, there's a lot of work that has to be done to clear things up. And also with that, you had Cutter noting that social media platforms themselves should really make sure they combat misinformation that spreads on their platform.
Also being able to think about how do we amplify the voices of people who've actually experienced trafficking, survivors who are out there sharing their stories to correct the narrative. I think that's a really meaningful way to be able to...
I literally saw you. I looked over. I'm like, wait a minute. Did this fucker just ditch me for another group? No. And then that's... no, it's all good. That's why I messaged you there. All right. Fair. It's all good. Okay. Well, I was watching some Philip DeFranco, but...
I'm the dives.
I'm loving fighting people on Twitter, like who are like pro bug. they're like, oh, I can't even. I just can't even. I did a little more research too on the lore behind it, Kiri, and the way the world is and whatever. I think it's if so. There's a lot of lore that's assumed that wasn't actually written into the games, right? Yeah. And so there's like, even though the automatons have propaganda saying like, oh, we won't kill you, you know, whatever, they've sent messages out like that, right? It's like what? Well, you can't believe 100% of the propaganda on either side, right?
True.
And even though the joke is, in a way, we're like democracy, but there's not really democracy. The whole point is that the world handed off its voting from politicians to computers because computers are transparent, right?
Right.
And then eventually that transparency kind of muddied it a little bit till the computers were so complicated that people were voting on policy. And the computers were stating people in power, right?
Right.
But the people did vote for this. Right, like
this is true.
Like, even though there's like levels of coercion, the question, like the levels. Anyway, it's the automatons. Yes, they were farmers. They were people that lived outside of the area that were like self-sustaining, and then Super Earth decided to like come in. But then there's also an argument that Super Earth is technically taking taxes. And then they refuse to take taxes. But then what do you do when you have people that are declaring themselves as separate to your country, right? Like that are actually a part of your country, right? Like it's anyways, the lines of the lore are much blurrier than people are stating it is, you know.
So. Oh yeah. Well, that's because Twitter always speaks in black and whites.
Oh, it's not just Twitter. It's like YouTube. It's fucking...
Really? It's everywhere?
Oh, yeah. It's literally everywhere. It's
That's so funny.
It's Reddit posts. It's like... And I do understand like the irony of the propaganda. It's like you're talking up your civilization more than any other civilization, right? Like that's kind of what you do. We're the perfect civilization, right? That's kind of how you run... like any business, any service. You don't want to be, we're the average civil, you know what I mean? Like you don't do that, right? But like, you know, and the bugs, people are like, well, they took over the animals and then they spread them out. But they're a hive mind. They're a murderous hive mind. Imagine if cows were a hive mind. How does that make, like, yeah, Super Earth's a bunch of dicks, but like everybody else is a bunch of dicks too, you know? Yeah. Anyways, that's kind of the yeah. I did a whole bunch of research. I was looking online a bunch last night trying to figure out what the fuck's going on with this game.
That's funny. Dedication.
I still love the screenshot I sent you. It's like, where did the bugs and robots come from? This game is about government covering up conspiracy. Yes, you fight bugs and robots. It's like, that's... And not only that, you're part of the military. What government's military ever has to question and make decisions about how the government and the people react? Like you just do what you're told. That's your job. Like there's no I don't know. Anyways, I'm sorry, I'm ranting. I spent so much time last night. I was just like, what the fuck is all this? Like, you don't want your military to question. Like, it's
But that's the thing. That's the thing. Because it's so vague and ambiguous, that's kind of like half the fun of the lore. In all honesty, is being able to have your own headcanon.
Exactly.
Welcome aboard, Helldiver. The Galactic War needs you.
And not only that, there's also a joke. You could say that the system is actually set up much more like the Soviet Union or Nazi Germany, as opposed to being, American democratic. Anyways, there's a whole there's like it's not even like American equivalent, even though there's like so many people talking about it being like American equivalent. It's like the propaganda style isn't even American. It's actually more like Russian. It's
You're here. The galaxy awaits your salvation.
That's a good point. But then you have to think, I've been sitting here for a second, and I just got an ad for Eagle Sweat, and that is the most American clone name I think I could ever think of.
Eagle Sweat. Oh yeah, actually, yeah. I'll point out, like, in Helldivers, a lot of things are American branded, but the type, the way that it's applied is actually not very American at all. Yeah.
This is true.
Like the whole intro video, of like showing the happy family and the whole thing is so American. Yep. It's so great, but it's not like, nowadays. Anyways, it's. Where did my game go? The hell, game capture. Helldivers. All right, we'll do this for like an hour and a half, and then I've actually done a little bit of research, and we actually have a video we'll watch for Counter-Strike today.
All right, cool. Sounds good to me.
For nade setups and everything. Okay. I'll join you.
Allied destroyer coordinates received.
Sheer online? Let's see if he's. Or Doc? Or. Oh, we must Doc. Is he online? HD2.
Allied destroyer has joined squadron. Engaging orbital thrusters.
Is Jack-Off work? Send him a message.
Orbit synchronized.
I don't.
The Helldivers have begun operations to fully activate the Terminid control system. The Termicide is reportedly proving extremely effective, with experts saying the benefits to the local ecology far outweigh the loss of some native species.
Actually, I'll message Toasty here.
After the raid, a child with terminal radiation poisoning gets a surprise visit from their greatest hero. Stay tuned.
Where the what? Helldivers. How do you like my new, I don't know if you have the stream up, but pop stream it for, how do you like my new camera box? It's a little cleaner, I think.
Yeah, I like it. Yeah, it's cleaner.
Rather than being like sunken into the video, we have popped out.
Yeah.
Helldiver, the Terminid control system is ready for activation. The time is now or never.
Come on, Burrow, give me a hug.
Alright, I just got a fuck ton of medals because I got like 2 different fucking backlogs of missions worth.
Look at this, the guy's just staring at me. I wish the I wish actually, well, maybe I'll make a post on that. That the AI or this guy standing around should be able to react to our emotes. It'd be so funny.
Truth.
Like I was so disappointed when you do the what's it called? You salute to them and they don't salute back.
Yeah, for real. That was like one of the first things I tried.
Can't remember, does Monty have Helldivers?
The
No.
hour of our next victory rapidly approaches.
He doesn't like
Let us
freedom.
cleanse the galaxy of alien scum.
What are you doing here? What are we?
I'm spending metals currently.
Oh, okay, here in the. Shoot.
So I need another 66 metals to get the gun I want to try.
Reduces deployment time for all strengths shadows. I do use sentries. I like my sentries. Shock absorption gel.
Moves up to medium armor pen. That's actually
extra ammo.
The engineers filled the TCS tanks with enough termicide to last over a year. Should be easy enough to replenish, once all the terminids are dead.
And then there was a whole bunch of arguments that the Terminids were smarter than people, right? Like there was like, oh, they're more intelligent and you know, more sentient and everything. And I'm like, well, if they're so fucking smart, okay, then why the fuck are they used as cows? Like, couldn't they like make their own fuel instead of like? How'd they allow themselves to get turned into something that could be farmed? Like, get fucked.
There.
You've done the
What
new
is our current major order.
You haven't, have you done the new major order yet or no?
The major order is everybody's contribution. Right?
Well, the custom or the special mode that we got to do where we defend the batteries and everything. You haven't, okay.
That is not my current major order. Interesting.
Your major order is termicide dispensing towers have been built all over the barrier planet. They need to only be activated to quarantine the bugs for good, right? That's it?
Actually, yes.
Yes, okay, so now we're gonna go press a button, we're gonna defend a battery.
Meridia.
We're gonna defend a battery and...
The termicide towers on this planet await your activation. Let us continue our progress.
Let's do the tower first. Are we helldiving this?
Not the two of us.
Yeah, it's fucking hard, man. They made it harder. The post was, oh, are there too many? I'm paraphrasing. Are there too many Bile Titans? Do you guys not like Bile Titans? Well, you know what? How about we add like Stalkers and Hunters and replace the Bile Titans with Stalkers and Hunters? That sounds like a good fucking idea. So now there's more stalkers and hunters and less Battle Titans.
Another step closer to a successful operation.
Oh, right.
Quite a few of them here. Interesting.
You know, me, you, and both you guys, we totally got this. We totally got this.
It seems like they're all gonna be either search and destroy. Yeah, okay. Yep, okay. I'm not getting blitz, but it'll work anyway.
Initiating FTL jump to the Errata system.
The fuck is your title? Death Captain, okay. What is this?
Jump complete.
Oh.
Mission coordinates locked.
We're guarding here, and we go this way. Crescent moon. Alright, I need porthole closing. Take that, I'm gonna take that.
And the autocannon, baby.
Allied destroyer has joined squadron. Engaging orbital thrusters.
Nice, we got another one in. We got a level 50 super citizen.
Orbit synchronized.
It's so funny, dude. I was playing the other day too. Apparently, one of Culprit's community members saw that I was streaming, jumped into my stream, went onto Steam, found Culprit, went into Culprit's friends list, found me playing, jumped into my game. We played a full game. I had no idea I was with him the whole time.
That is hilarious. That is so funny.
And then he finally left. He was like, he says in chat, "Good playing with you." I'm like, "Oh yeah, what the heck?" Like, I had no idea.
That's so funny. That is the kind of the beauty of this game, though, is that you can just jump in at any time.
Yeah, that's why they need 24-player games.
True.
Eight would be fun as an event, though, I'll tell you.
Hellpod launch initiated.
Oh, who's a follow? Hey, HP220, welcome in. How you doing today? Welcome in, welcome in. Thank you for the follow. Exclamation mark Discord if you want to join our Discord community. All that good stuff. Oh, you're a bot. Okay, that sucks. Too bad. Thanks for increasing my numbers, though. Oh, Jesus. I didn't. Oh my god.
I was not expecting to be dropped in this scenario.
Down, up,
Requesting sentry.
Okay, prepared to be barraged here in a second.
Rolling down a support weapon.
Yeah. Run away from this.
Sending down equipment package.
Oh, bug tunnel, I can't even see anything. Alright, let's get moving. Oh my god. That nearly killed me.
Murder.
Reloading.
Our teammates like crawling across the battlefield.
Reinforcing.
Oh, apparently they made it so you can't drop on high ground anymore either.
Yeah, I did notice that.
Which sucks because that was half the reason why I won so many games. Where's the spore? Yeah, there it is. Nice.
Fucker.
Orbital inbound. West here. Calling in orbital strike. Bug tunnel breach. Requesting air support. Found something.
After you. What is this mess?
Bug outpost spotted. Prepare to exterminate. Sending in an eagle.
Let me in, let me in.
Reinforcing.
Request approved. Reinforcements have been launched.
Sending in an eagle. Throwing supply beacon.
Eagle 1 returning to destroyer for resupply.
Our one guy was pretty far.
Good stuff. Yes. Requesting air support.
I am running the wrong way here. But I'm near my backpack, so I'm gonna go get it and probably die on the way. And a fucking bug beach. Jesus.
Helldiver, you are moving outside the main area. Liberty, speed your step, Helldiver.
Oh, gotta swap ice.
Oh my god. Oh, I just got cut down with my teammate's turret.
Calling in reinforcements.
Point me to the enemy.
Rare sample collected.
There's a recoilless rifle up ahead. Oh, why did I do that?
Sending in an eagle.
Last reload!
Can I shoot? Why can't I shoot? What's going on here? Okay. Very weird.
Requesting air support. Reinforcing.
Request approved. Reinforcements on the way.
Reporting to the front. Found something. Mag's empty.
Requesting air support.
Going down at support. Bug hive.
One minute remains. Destroyer departure imminent.
Ending in an eagle. Bug tunnel breach.
I know we can do it.
Bug hive spotted. Prepare to exterminate. Requesting air support. You have accomplished liberty.
Oh my god, we did it.
Extracted your discretion.
Back.
Request approved. Reinforcements have been launched. Super destroyer leaving low orbit. Emergency extraction shuttle deployed.
What? No more. Oh, stratagems are down.
Stratagems are down.
Fire in the hole.
That's a load of crap. Well, we're screwed. I am.
No, everything will be
Throwing grenade!
ETA T-minus 1 minute.
What the hell?
Fire in the hole! How'd you like the taste of freedom?
ETA T-minus 1 minute.
Pelican 1 landing sequence initiated. Watch where you're standing.
My lad.
Pelican 1 preparing to depart. Shuttle launch in 20 seconds.
Godspeed.
Yeah, he doesn't have it. There's no way.
He's going for the other entrance. He's
got no ammo. He's got nothing.
I can almost hear the death throes of the bugs as the termicide subdues their trachea.
We did something.
We did. Oh, mission success.
That's what matters.
Peace.
All right.
Well done. With the termicide pumping, any bugs left down there are probably dead already.
Termicide. Sounds healthy.
Hellpods primed.
What are we doing? Which one?
Engaging orbital thrusters.
What?
The fans.
Orbit synchronized.
Okay.
I'm actually. Why not? Equape. Well, out.
Eradicate mission. A mass termicide gathering in the region left unchecked. Good. Oh yeah. Oh yeah. We're doing this.
We gonna get him.
Actually.
I'm gonna take railgun and laser. You gonna choose a booster?
Oh shit. Yes.
Man, the fucking running one is so nice.
Hellpod launch initiated.
He's definitely my favorite.
We all get it, right?
Yep.
Yeah.
Requesting sentry. Bug tunnel breach. Calling down a sentry.
Deploying sentry.
Okay, we are gonna get hit hard by my own shit, so be careful.
That's called democracy. Bug tunnel breach. Calling down fortifications.
Deploying minefield. Stand clear.
What? I don't even know how I killed myself there. Need to reinforce.
Okay.
Even he swarmed so fast.
There I am. That's the Biomite.
Yep.
Allied destroyer leaving squadron.
Aw, he left.
Warning, you are leaving the mission area.
Oh! Oh! I killed so many with my lander.
Warning, you are leaving the mission area.
Charge. Oh yeah. I get fucked.
Really?
Requesting sentry. Bug tunnel breach. Gotta swap ice. Calling down a sentry.
Give me a second. Oh, Jesus. Up, down,
Reinforcing! Get some! Get some!
Request approved. Deploying reinforcements.
I took my backpack and then your mortar murders me.
I had to take it, dude. I would have died. Okay.
Calling in
Calling a new one.
Bruh, it's on cooldown for like 5 minutes.
I know. It's done.
Ready to liberate!
You are moving outside the mission area.
Bag's empty!
Warning, you are leaving the mission area.
When I find my laser backpack thing again, I'll give this one to you. Why can't I get up? What's going on? Oh my god.
New man!
Where's the mine? Where's the mine?
Out of stims! Requesting sentry!
Okay, give me a second here.
Reinforcing!
Request approved. Reinforcements on the way.
Oh shit.
Changing ice!
thing! Bugs.
No, I can't do anything. We would have had it if the guy didn't leave. Fuck. We might still be able to scratch something out of it.
Got a
Oh, 7
sample!
revives. Oh, why you're so
Bag's
worried.
empty!
What?
I said we still have 7 revives. I don't know why you're worried. We only need like another, what, 100 buckets?
Yeah. Those go fast as more things spawn, right?
Orbital inbound! Bug tunnel breach! Reinforcing!
Squad lost. Deploying replacement squad. Warning, you are leaving the mission area. Request approved. Reinforcements on the way.
Dude, we're there's nowhere to land but like scores of them. Jesus Christ.
Bug tunnel breach!
Bring me in, boss.
Fuck.
I'm so mad. I can drop sentries, I can drop minefields, I can drop everything.
Reloading!
What the hell that is for?
Calling in orbital strike! Calling in reinforcements!
Oh shit. Okay.
Reporting to the front.
Warning, you are leaving the mission area.
I just die instantly. I can't do anything.
Bug tunnel breach!
My arm! Out of stims.
No. God damn it. No, I was trying to do a thing.
Request approved. Reinforcements on the way. 5 minutes left. We can't stay this low much longer, Helldiver.
Point me to the enemy.
Hail Mary.
Calling down a sentry.
Understand the consequences of my actions. So be it.
I'm just like dying instantly. I can't do shit. Every time I land, they're fucking everywhere.
I am death incarnate.
Squad lost. Deploy replacement squad. Request approved. Deploying reinforcements.
Where can I land without bugging stuff? Fuck.
Joining the fray. Calling down fortifications. Say hello to democracy!
You.
Got a swab ice.
Freedom marches onward. Thanks to you. You may proceed to extraction.
I don't know why I'm plugged.
Pelican 1 approaching request confirmed. Shuttle inbound.
Can't do anything. Love it.
Pelican.
Preparing to Shuttle launch in 20 seconds.
No.
Gee, I can't get through that. Literally a sea.
Pelican 1 beginning ascent.
Just barely.
With the dispensing of the termicide,
Once that I didn't have a breaker shotgun because I was trying out the new marksman rifle.
Yeah.
Not worth it.
Nah, I think some weapons are just like very specific, you know.
It's probably fantastic on automatons, in all honesty. But I think shotguns are just king for bugs. Assault rifles might be good. Maybe I can try out the medium armor pen assault rifle.
Welcome back. Termicide's so effective, you can almost forget
Stats, dude, look at my
it's
kills.
100% safe for all other
I doubled yours pretty much. You were at 74, I'm at 164.
Nice.
Shots fired, shots hit. I'm surprised. It probably was my turrets though.
A lot of it, yeah.
All right. Are you even ready for this last mission?
Oh yeah.
I don't think so.
Mission coordinates locked. Hellpods primed.
Because this is difficult.
Okay.
Orbit
So
synchronized.
what's the gimmick on this one? You just drop in the middle
And
you defend it?
there's batteries that sit around it, like giant fucking batteries. All you do is you defend it. Stuff spawns and it waves at you over and over and over again. So, yeah.
Okay. Interesting.
So, in which case, I would also recommend the flamethrower. But I don't know how that fits.
Thinking about the arc thrower.
It fits into your kit.
Hellpod launch initiated.
Okay.
Fear the shadow of neither death nor tyranny, but justice is your
What? Oh. There's a kill box there, I guess.
Apparently.
Another diver for the cause. Free him.
Joining the crest.
Sending down equipment package.
Okay, we need to go press that button.
Bomb tunnel breach!
Oh, and that tunnel breach is right in between.
Run over to me.
You're gonna have to spawn me in.
Going down a sentry!
Why are you gonna whip it on top of them? Alright. They were whipping here. Reinforcement on top of them. Like, this just makes it so hard for me to get out. Yeah, but you need to throw it towards the bug. Just throw it.
The bug's all around though. What do you want me to do?
What's up, Doc? How's it going?
I am very tired. It has been a long day. Why is Sulack going through puberty again?
Come play video games.
Huh?
Requesting sentry.
Hello?
Hi.
Hi.
I thought I might have lost you guys for a second.
Well, we're talking
to
you, so you did lose us for a
Going down a
second.
sentry.
Alright, get on.
Sample collected.
Spread
You
freedom.
guys done with the mission?
What?
You're out of the mission you were just in?
Alright, just in. We're in a mission.
You will never
I thought you
destroy
were.
our way of life.
Alright, well, I'm getting on.
Alright, you press the button, right, Kiri?
I did.
Alright,
We gotta like do the silos.
let's go to this battery.
Wait, didn't you just say you weren't in a mission?
Oh
We just
my
said we were
god,
in a
Doc.
mission.
I'm
Open
gonna
your earballs.
literally open your earballs. I said like 4 times to you, and you're like, wait. Okay, we're in a mission. Just come join us.
Okay.
Yeah.
Oh, it's only the two of you in the mission.
Thanks.
Okay. No, again, you were disconnecting some.
I was not. You were disconnecting some.
You were disconnecting some.
And your mic goes in your mouth too. Just to add to it.
Let's reload.
Yeah, the mic is a bit weird. Even by my standards.
Is that better?
Yes, way better.
Yeah, a little bit quieter, but I can just tweak that. Don't worry.
Helldiver, never die.
Wow, I'm stuck between two of you fuckers, huh?
Bag's empty. Let's reload.
You gotta clean this silo out. They're all running at it.
Have a taste of
I don't know why Mickey is apparently scarred by the smell of frying of chicken cutlets. Because when I was doing that earlier, and he went up to my room and was like curled up in the corner of my bed. I think it's because of the one time my mom set off the fire alarm.
Work on the footsteps in this game. Larger creatures like Bile Titans. There's no reason a motherfucker that big should be sneaking up on me.
Yeah, it happens sometimes.
You gotta open your earballs.
Yeah, he has like the stop the steps though. They sound ginormous, but they're like fucking ballerina steps.
I mean, have you seen what they're on? They're on their tippy toes at all times.
Are you stuck, Kiri, right now? Or?
Yep, there we go. It was wait until knocked down.
Oh, what the hell?
Oh, that's a lot of Bile Titans.
Come on, Doc. Bring us in. Look at that. Speedy fingers. Oh my god.
Request approved. Reinforcements have been launched.
Let's see if I can land the Bile Titan. No. I'm gonna die for my mistakes.
Broke the Bile Titan's life. Why are you?
Wow.
You like that?
Are we on Helldivers difficulty?
No.
What difficulty is it?
Squad lost. Deploying
We
forward
need to get away from these things. We're like in the middle of them the entire time. We keep throwing the fucking things into the enemy instead of letting it back away.
I mean, that's not really an issue.
I just immediately,
Get out from any situation.
I literally immediately got.
I'm just about to save us right now.
Calling down a sentry.
With sentries?
Yep.
Oh, what gun is that?
That's the auto turret.
No, what Sulack, what gun is that?
The laser? I don't know.
Yeah. That actually ripped through the Bile Titan. God damn.
No, that was my Gatling cannon.
Wow.
That's the auto turret.
It does rip through the bile sacks, though.
What are you using, Jerry?
The medium armor pen.
Oh, so the same thing I just said. The Liberator.
Trying it out.
I'm not here.
He's alright so far, but I mean, that's my better.
We did not defend that zone very well.
Can anyone following me in port?
Well, Paul.
What just happened to you?
That was his foot.
Oh.
Calling in reinforcements. Bugs on breach.
The concussion.
Ready to liberate.
Orbital inbound.
Yeah. Right on top of him. Let me squish.
Changing ice.
Okay, we need to go deal with these batteries.
That we do.
For prosperity! Got a swap height.
Oh my god.
Too bad. Last reload.
Alright, we gotta move dock.
Calling in reinforcements.
Oh hey, somebody else fell in the fucking lake. Wasn't just me.
Requesting sentry.
Okay, we gotta get to that. Don't we have to get to the button or something?
Yep.
Calling down a sentry.
Oh my, I'm getting sick of these fucking turrets getting destroyed early. We gotta kill these things faster.
Got a swap ice.
Yeah, it's gonna destroy that. Fuck me.
You'll beat me. Alright, I'm probably gonna die in a second because I have a dog on me.
Requesting sentry.
Deploying equipment package.
Throwing grenade. Reinforcing.
Request approved. Reinforcements have been launched.
Where the fuck is the button? up there. And I just killed myself with an explosive. Oh my fucking god! You guys still there? Yep. Just being extremely quiet. Dude, did you steal my lightning gun?
Mine, I don't know what you're talking about.
You'll never destroy our way of life! Reinforcing!
I'm not so sure we're succeeding at this.
Yeah. Probably not, but... I mean,
This
I didn't
mission-
really know what was going on with this mission.
With this mission, yeah, we
see it, but it, like, the fact that it kicks you out of the thingy if it's gone for too long, it doesn't just hold progress, is kind of...
What are you talking about?
So I spawned inside the water
I started the first battery, and if it just goes for too long, it just kills
No,
it.
we had to defend the silo. Nobody. I was the only one defending the silo. You guys were.
I was not. You were not. No. I was dead, and your happy ass just wasn't reviving me. You were defending yourself, but no.
Not during. No, so it cancels when the bugs destroy the silo thing.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
Yeah, you have to defend it, basically.
Yeah, I know that. Maybe I just didn't know where you guys were there, because like we pressed the button and then I had my turret set up and then they swarmed the whole thing. I didn't see any
Well, they
defense.
swarm all sides is the issue.
Yeah.
Also, when I spawned in, they had already taken down the defenses, the silo then, because it didn't have anything loading. Oh my god.
Yeah.
The lives lost here are a pittance compared to those that TCS will save once operational.
What I'm saying, Sulack, is I understand how it is.
Yeah.
That's what happened, but I don't think that's a good game choice, is what I was saying.
What do you mean? Like, so this is what I mean. Okay, I was on one side, I was defending it, and then I look on the other side, and there's no what you saying you're dead during? I don't think you were dead there.
Well, I was definitely defending it because I was right up against the fucking thing.
Oh.
I wish you could. Is there any way to scroll down on your personal orders?
Congratulations on completing your training.
I didn't know there's. No, I don't know.
I don't know how to answer that question.
Yeah.
Okay, you know what the personal orders are, right?
Yeah.
But I've never had to scroll them down. I've never.
Nope, you've never had more than one?
I've had two.
The galactic.
Yeah, major order and two personal orders, and the second one I can't see fully.
Oh, you might have a weird resolution then.
Oh, yeah.
Can we actually stop by a robot? Well, I'm fine with bugs or robots. I have to kill 5, 6, 7 more Devastators, but I also have to kill 4 Chargers, so.
Gotcha.
The freedom of the galaxy remains in jeopardy. Let us join the fight. A worthy choice.
Initiating FTL jump to the Meridia system.
Where are we going?
Meridia.
I know, is that bugs or...
Bugs.
Okay.
Jump complete. Mission coordinates locked.
We're not going to be working on the major order?
That's what we're working on now.
Oh, okay. I thought... Oh, Meridia. Okay, there we go. Where were we before?
Well, we were on another one of them. I just decided to swap it up a little.
Okay.
I didn't remember which one it was.
Yeah, any of the planets have, it's all like the same major mission.
System. Yeah.
Basically, you're just defending these big, like,
Yeah, no,
gas
I did it
things.
once.
Yeah.
What about here?
4 or 5.
Yeah.
How is Sulack still a cadet?
He just doesn't change it.
Yeah, why don't we change it? Huh, Doc?
Because you look like a noob.
Is that how you define your status in life? Is
titles?
By
Yes.
titles?
I mean, yeah, kind of.
Pretty much.
That's how you.
Why do you think I'm going for getting a new title in a few years?
Well, yeah, that's professionally, but you know, there's a difference.
You said in life. But in this game, the life is the game.
Exactly. So do you need to impress other people? Is that how you live life? Your title is but impressing other people?
A little bit, yeah.
That's a little rough, but okay. Yeah. How about you impress yourself?
I do. Every time I look down. Thank you for laughing at that, Kiri.
That was a good one.
We're gonna die
See, like,
horribly.
if I made fun of his shoes, then I'd hurt his feelings.
Go now,
in that thing again.
and fear the shadow of neither death nor tyranny, for justice is
Calling
your
down a sentry.
Calling down a support weapon.
Requesting sentry.
Bug tunnel free. Requesting an eagle.
Requesting fortifications.
Okay. Oh, fucking hell.
Calling in reinforcements.
I'm sorry, Kiri. I might have shot you.
Have a taste of democracy.
Later, Bert.
Sending down equipment package.
Oh, son of a
really?
bitch! Fucking viewers.
Calling in reinforcements.
What type of armor do you guys use now that it actually affects something?
Medium with that 50/50 gas buff. I don't remember what it's called. These hunters, Jesus Christ.
Reinforcing. Bag's empty.
Yes, I realized I'm moving outside the area, but there were bugs in the area.
Raider.
Helldivers,
Okay,
you are
Mac,
moving
Mac.
outside the mission area.
Fucking traitor. Are you kidding me? That's where we land, like right. Die. Away.
Reinforcing.
Ready to liberate.
just got my laser off.
Request approved. Deploying reinforcements.
Point me to the enemy.
Squished on, bitch.
Going down fortification.
Oh shit.
On tunnel breach.
Okay, it's ridiculous that the Bile Spew is like insta-killing you.
Yeah.
Down a sentry. Requesting sentry.
Oh, they got my
Okay.
turret.
Why are you doing this?
Calling in reinforcements.
Democracy has landed.
Requesting air
You're alive?
Me?
What?
Reinforcing.
No.
I think I'm gonna run flamethrower next round here.
Reinforcements have been launched.
Bag's empty.
Nice.
Reinforcing.
Joining the fray.
Oh my god.
On tunnel breach.
Bag's empty.
I just fell below the map. Okay.
Yeah, that happened to me last night.
Bag's empty. Yes. On tunnel breach. Requesting orbital strike. Last reload. Calling in reinforcements. You back.
Get him, dog.
Point me to the enemy.
Or just stand there and
Nope.
die.
I was trying to summon the fucking laser.
I need a hero.
And I failed. Give me 1 second.
The Terminids fight with the ferocity of cornered prey.
Yeah, I might run flamethrower here.
Fair.
Nice job, Cutie. Should we lower the difficulty by 1?
No.
That is not the answer. That is never the answer.
That is not the answer. And consider, okay, Doc, I've been like,
never have too many
not
heroes
soloing,
fighting
but
peace.
I'll like whatever jump into to quick plays like every fucking night, and it's just composition
aboard,
for the most
Helldiver.
part. I just need to
The
swap up.
Galactic
Like I got a very
War needs you.
defensive composition, but I need to do something a little more.
Liberty's greatest.
Like the biggest thing, we need to take out those fucking large guys faster. And I don't think any of us was kitted out there to just take out the big guys. So
I mean, I can just get out and kill.
like if you guys
if you get, yeah, I was gonna say.
What should I grab then?
1 second here, let me swap my weapons too. I'm just gonna go shotgun.
Yep. That is the answer.
Always the answer, isn't it? Incendiary or non-incendiary, I think.
They nerfed the non, so they're closer now.
Yeah, burn.
I don't get why they're nerfing things in a PvE game.
Yeah.
Yeah, it is a curious decision.
Actually, here, 1 second. Let me go buy something quick. Where is it? Oh, wait. Do you have a grenade launcher, Doc?
Yes, actually.
Can you run grenade launcher?
Sure.
Just gonna take care of all of our bases here. Guard dog rover. We can probably do, yeah, okay.
Why haven't you swapped over to the shield generator pack, by the way, Sulack? That'll make your life infinitely better.
Because honestly, I don't feel like I die that much unless I'm getting swarmed hard.
Yes, I mean, you're constantly getting swarmed hard, at least.
I'm pretty good at sometimes we get trapped a little bit. Yes, it would help in the times where we're trapped, but
Managed democracy calls for aid.
That's like the whole thing, is you're basically always running into traps in this game because of the way things spawn. I don't
yeah. You can control a lot of it.
control very little. I mean, honestly, you can control it if you're willing to sacrifice the objectives.
Yeah, nah. You don't need the meta build to get effectiveness to be effective, you know.
What's the meta build?
You don't need to be effective. I can agree with that, but it's still the best.
There's two sides to it, but it's the same mentality as if I kill the thing that's gonna damage me, I don't need to worry about the damage.
Yes, I completely agree. This game does not have enough.
And what it does,
sustained damage output to do so.
And what it does,
has a lot of burst damage output, but very little sustained.
And what the dog does is takes care of all the small things and the things that are behind me. So, especially if I'm running a turrets, it's not that effective. I'll even point out, like turret comp, not so much. But when you're considering like running gunning it's actually pretty damn good.
In righteous liberation.
In terms of utility. I've run shield. It works, but you know, I feel I'm more effective with the extra firepower. I've even considered other stuff too, but yeah. Let's run the recoilless for a while. All right, let's do this. How about over here? Over here? What over here?
But a single triumph more, and the operation
Over here.
is complete.
How about over here?
Mission coordinates locked. Mission preparation aborted. Hellpods primed.
I will be
Engaging
right
orbital
back.
thrusters.
Oh, never mind, Vicky came in. Hello, baby boy. Yes, hello. What is it? What is it? What are you saying?
Orbit synchronized.
You are such a good boy. You are such a good boy. Yes, you are.
Oh, just so you know, Kiri got 20 minutes.
What do you mean Kiri has 20 minutes?
That's why I did the defense again.
Alright.
Oh, you have to leave in 20 minutes?
Yeah, we're doing some Counter-Strike in 20.
What are you doing?
Counter-Strike.
Why would you do Counter-Strike?
Counter-Strike amazing.
Counter.
Because it is excellent, Doc. There's a reason why it's continuously been growing, even with minimal updates or maintenance.
Give me 1 second. Yeah, okay.
Do you pay booster, or do you only have the
Oh,
one?
what am I? Hold on. I got help. That's a big one.
Launch
I was thinking about the booster.
It'd be nice if it just wrapped it in with the stratagems and just hopped over to it immediately.
Or you just pick your default one.
Well, it's a good thing I'm already back.
Oh, hi, back. I'm Sulack.
Hi, Sulack. I'm Lack.
You be lacking. Haha.
What about how's streaming been going for you, Soul?
That's not bad. Just chilling.
Got followers.
Slowly, 200 and something at the moment.
Nice.
I've started doing a lot more, right? And I've put a lot more work into like my setup and everything. So, you know, it's still early days. And Sleepy says Dell Hivers. Yes, we are diving all the hells.
Go now and shoot you fall. Remember this. Every day is a good day to die for democracy.
We are actually going to be swapping over. Well, not on stream. We'll be ending stream in like 15 minutes here. I'm going to be doing Workout Wednesdays with Counter-Strike stuff, Sleepy. So you should install it and join us. Fucking deserve it. Take my guard dog. Oh shit.
Is that what that was?
Yes!
I put my backpack like in this exact same spot. That was just a coincidence. I was like, ah, look, backpack. I threw it there. Grab it.
Oh, you took my shit. I'm like right out in front of me, Dad.
That's funny.
Oh, Jesus. I gotta move. You have stuff to do at midnight, unfortunately? Damn it. Alright.
Damn it, got murdered by an explosion.
What a convenient excuse.
Helldiver, you are moving outside
Oh no, I know I'm running.
What the fuck did I just watch?
I think we just watched him hardcore up the leg and get kicked.
Yeah, I kind of my movement kind of glitched out there.
Yeah, because it kind of looked like you fucking did a soccer trick with your body. That's what came to my mind.
That flamethrower, baby. I need it.
Warning, you are leaving the mission area.
Oh my. Some terrain is way too tricky. Okay. We are not off to a good start here.
No, we are not.
Oh yeah, Sleepy. How do you like my new bar, my new camera window?
Oh, hello there, Charger. I don't know if you'd be expected to taking the carry. Oh, hey, there's a third one.
Yeah. I think we're going. I don't know.
Well, that was fun to watch. Carrie just turn around and go, nope.
Carry. Oh no, he's surviving, man.
What?
Just
reinforce.
A motherfucker sniped me.
Helldiver, you are moving outside the mission area.
Bro, I spawned outside the mission area. Leave me alone.
Reporting to the front.
And I've got nothing to do with this shit.
Orbital inbound.
Get that. Oh. Nope, this is a bad idea.
For prosperity!
Helldiver, you are moving outside the mission area.
Reloading!
Why was Brian fire? Oh. Thanks, Sulack.
What?
You killed me.
How?
You set me on fire and killed me.
How did I set you on fire?
Your bullets.
My bullets. I don't have the...
Yes, you do. You picked up the incendiary one.
Yeah, you did.
Did I pick it up and swap it? No, I was running a breaker. It's a regular breaker.
You're running... I could have sworn I saw that thing lobbing fire shots while I was running.
Might have.
No, you definitely had fire.
I've never used it. I might have swapped it somewhere, but...
Probably while you were grabbing for my grenade.
Bag's empty.
Lost. Deploying full replacement.
Vile phase is irritating.
Request approved. Reinforcements have been launched.
Got the orbital laser in a second here. Find these weapons that made launching shit and wild. Make sure to break their bile sacks if you can.
That's one of them down.
Bag's empty.
Ah. Ah.
How about a nice cup of liberty? Sample collected. Crystal, get
one shot.
That's all right. We'll be reinforcing in a second, guys. Grenade launcher.
Reload.
And backpack. Oh
Left
no!
tunnel green.
Give me that. No, that was not worth it.
Deploying full replacement.
Nope.
Request approved.
Land on
Reinforcements on the way.
Democracy has landed. Got a sample. Westing orbital.
Engaging orbital laser.
New mag.
Oh my god, I just got fucking trampled.
Helldiver, you are moving outside the mission area.
Okay, I'm getting absolutely swarmed again.
You have been a stalwart line of freedom. Extract when ready.
Oh my god, yes!
I don't know how, but somehow it's still
By me.
Pelican 1 arriving at coordinates.
No! No, why me?
Point me to the enemy. This is Pelican 1, preparing for touchdown.
Enemies over there.
Requesting air support.
Which front to the... Yes, you can go over the terrain. Remember that. You had a clear path.
No, he's taking the path of most resistance because he's not a pussy.
Fuck you, bugs!
Extraction complete. Pelican 1 beginning ascent.
It's the Zap Rod again. We'll hit them where they're strongest.
Yeah, it's kind of...
No, if I was just trying to get as far away from the fucking Bile Titans as possible, okay? I just didn't want to go to the Bile Titans. Besides, I only ran into one enemy.
It's true, oh, but it took like 3 times as long.
Yeah.
Look, I was panicked, okay?
That was 3 times as more time that Bile Titan could have eaten your shit.
I was
Is my point.
panicked, okay? You don't know, you were dead.
Yeah, the incendiary having the more magazine capacity might actually be the play now. Just because
The burn,
painful with the normal.
the burn spreads a bit too, right? Doesn't it?
It does, yeah.
They run into each other and stuff.
Yeah.
All right. What are these stats? Let's take a look.
Well done. The enemy barely noticed our presence before we
Kiri.
pulled out.
Maybe that's why they're
Always
nerfing
good to have
guns.
another
They have more
hero
people
on
to
board.
pay more money. Could be.
All right. Well, I think we'll call it there. Big hug, Doc. Get over here.
B?
There we go, my dude.
My dude. My dude.
All right.
My dude.
That was some good hell diving.
We actually survived. One.
We did it.
Democracy.
All right. Okay. Well, I guess we'll slip out of here.
Peace out.
GG's.
Have a good one, Doc.
Wait.
All right, and for stream, I think Sleepy, you're still lurking. Dosray might be lurking too. We're gonna roll out. We're gonna do workout Wednesdays on Counter-Strike. It's a lot of fun. You guys play Counter-Strike, or if you don't play Counter-Strike, you should try it anyways. It's one of the best shooter games out there. All right, guys. GG's. I'll see you later.